Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday evening, July 23rd, 2026. I looked and I haven't posted that much online. I posted some shorts last Sunday, but I haven't posted much since July 18th. I guess it was last Saturday. So I'm going to post something. This isn't a do not poo poo this kind of, and I'm not reading my filing yet. I might do something a little bit later before work, but for now I just decided I was going to talk for an hour because I have a very important hearing tomorrow morning that I've been trying to have prevent from happening, but it looks like it's going to go forward, and and I want to make sure that my Wi-Fi is working, my laptop is okay. So I really need to clear. I'm doing house cleaning. This is a house cleaning. I need to clear all these tabs right now in the next hour and then get ready for work, take a break, and then maybe come back and do a short video about what's been going on today. A lot of exciting stuff for me. I mean, it's okay. We'll talk about this a little bit later because I'm waiting for it to be like 5 o'clock on the West Coast, which will be 8 o'clock here, and I'll come back and talk to you about what's been going on over there. It's cray cray. It's cray cray. I promise. I promise for lawyers out there who are interested. So there's been a lot of people not a lot, but there's been a few attorneys in the loop on everything, and only a few and some that have been on the loop only for the lower court filings. But so I will put everybody in the loop with what happened just okay, blah blah blah. I'll be back later. This is just going to be an hour long. I just need to clear these things, and I'm just going to clear them. So we're just going to go through. I mean, we'll see. So this is house cleaning. This is just a house cleaning video. I also feel just letting you know, I'm not going to leave the house until 8:45, and I might have two videos posted by then. But I'm driving. My daughter is leaving somewhere for the weekend. I'm going to be house sitting at her place. There's a lot going on tomorrow, but as soon as I leave the house, there's a chance. I get the vibe right now, and I've had these vibes before that I might be arrested. So because there's some bad actors trying to prevent me from, exposing a lot of fraud and stuff going on in the court system over there in LA, and now apparently the entire state of California, because we're up to the Supreme Court now. But Supreme Court of California and possibly the Supreme Court of the United States. Okay, so just so you know, like I just get these vibes sometimes, and it's not just there. It's like from many different feelers I have at work. It feels like they're trying to put me on a track for getting fired, and then online sometimes, and you start to get these feelers from various places that the gay Nazis and their connections and everything, and off script, possibly on script, I don't know, are trying stuff. So one of the things they might be trying or planning is to have me falsely arrested sometime between now and tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, which is when I'm going to try to appear remotely via LA Court Connect to a hearing, and I think they're going to try to prevent me and block me and everything like that. And I tried, so they're trying to kill my case, and I'm trying to prevent that from happening. There's only so much I can do, but one of the things they might try is simply just to falsely arrest me sometime between now and tomorrow morning. Okay, it's going to be 11:30 my time here on the East Coast, but that's all. And if that happens, my daughter will be on a plane, so I'm stuck here. And I'm just saying, also, just so you know, I was going to talk about house cleaning, and now I'm talking about this. This happens a lot on a Friday. They could have planned both my daughter leaving and today. I don't know why she's going on a plane. She does this every once in a while, and I house sit. But this could have been planned well in advance, that the hearing is going to be this Friday, and my daughter is leaving, so I have to take her to the airport in a car, because it's kind of hard to arrest me or do anything like that while I'm walking around. Like I'm just walking from here to work or whatever it is. But if I'm in a car, not even arrest me, like an accident, I mean, it could be worse than just arresting me, is what I'm saying. So, I hope it happens. If it does happen, after I drop her off at the airport. But if it's anything if it's bad, then there's nothing anybody could do. But if it's an arrest, a lot of this stuff happens on a weekend. Whenever I'm falsely arrested, it's usually on a weekend or something that will keep me over the weekend in the jail. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. And also the other thing is, it happens this way when my gay baby daddy, her father, is involved in some way. Now he is 100%, I'm sure I have evidence of this, involved in some way with my false arrest and everything, but not on the level that it is here. So the other thing I wanted to say for a do not poo-poo the security, not just my boo Friday, a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. My boo's back in Vegas. I'm not quite as worried about her because of something else that happened, and I'm not even going to say. Okay, I'm not even going to say that. I'm just saying my security this time feels more about me, my kids or my daughter, and my gay baby daddy, because he might be next on the list. They've already killed Kelly's ex, so they might kill my ex because he was involved at a certain level on the stuff that happened, 2.5 years ago. Of course he was, but it's not that so he might be a witness, or he's trying to get, anyway, he's fine. I mean, he's just, I don't know what else to say. I'm just saying there's some indications of a false arrest coming up that he might be behind. Okay? He's very good at having me falsely arrested, is what I'm saying, at the initial thing. Now, the keeping me in jail for 190 days on false imprisonment, that's not him. He does not have the power to do that. He doesn't have the power to do what's going on since then. He doesn't have the power to, have court clerks commit crimes and things like that, and what's going on now up and up all the way up to the, possibly the Supreme Court of the United States. He's good at initiating this stuff. So, he's very good at this. He could he had people come and repossess my car when they didn't have a right to do so. But then once that happened, I said, keep the car and then when my bike was stolen a couple of times, he has the power to kind of do this kind of stuff a little bit, maybe not. And then I said, well, keep the bike too. If I'm on a bike and I'm in my car, there's I have a bike now, but I'm trying not to bike as much as I can. I just walk to work. It just feels safer because it's a lot easier to, it sounds paranoid, but after you've been through what I've been through. So anyway, blah, 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 blah. Let's get on with it. If anything happens, this is like the last video. I think I'm going to put up one more before this, but I need to clear this right now. Okay. Okay. Baby dad, I wasn't even planning on saying that, but whatever comes out right now is subconscious. My subconscious mind wants whatever it wants to say. I'm going to say it for my own protection. I'm just saying tomorrow there's a lot of stuff going down, and if it is going to be a do not poo-poo this, it's mostly concerning me or my own family kind of stuff going on. Not so much Kelly for tomorrow, though it's always a risk. But there's other indications, and I never come on here and say it's always safe. That's the worst thing. It's almost like prompting them to try something just to prove me wrong, okay? So everybody be safe out there. And so in my filings, I filed an emergency application for a stay with the United States Supreme Court on, you have to mail it in, and it's ridiculous and all this stuff, and we'll talk about that later. But that one was denied on January 13th, and then some stuff happened, new stuff that happened with the lower courts, and I filed something called a renewed application for emergency stay, a renewed emergency application for stay with the United States Supreme Court. You can do this. If one of them gets denied, it's the shadow docket. You can go to all 8 of the other justices. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to one other one. I'm going to Gorsuch. Number 1, he's my favorite after Kagan. Number 2, he's in line with with everything I'm saying. If anything could ever get to anybody, he's the one who's going to be most open to everything I'm saying. He's the one closest to like Hamilton, I channel Alexander Hamilton, all that stuff. Same birthday as him, Huguenot, and I'm a Huguet, whatever. So I chose him purposely, and I'm sending it there, and it should arrive tomorrow. But it's panicking the lower courts like crazy because they thought the denial is just panicking everybody, and it's just my best written. It really is, you guys. So another thing is if something happens to me. A lot of times I can't get my stuff published anywhere, but my publications end up being my court filings. They are published. They're just not published by a publisher. Or a law review or something. They're published online in court filings. And the best thing that happened was that the Supreme Court accepted and docketed my application for an emergency stay. It has a lot of it's not just the stay, it has a lot of constitutional arguments and things that I could be arguing for like the next 10 to 20 years, okay, with the Supreme Court, or just things that have to change after the 16th Amendment falls. Trump appears to be working heavily on that. That's him, okay? That's the number one important thing. But once that happens, I'm focusing on the court system, and I have like 3 or 4 filings going on. And I always say, this is my best filing, this is my best filing. This truly is. Like, I can die. I was worried about this last one being put on a docket somewhere, and today it was put on a docket at the lower court level. So it's out there, and I'm fine. So if I die now, I'm okay. Everything, all my writings and everything I have to say to the court system is kind of there in one filing. Not really one. I mean, there's a writ of habeas corpus I really want to do. That's going to cover like everything. Like right now it's in 3 different places, but it's okay, guys. It's really good, and I'll go over it later. You can tell it's really good because they're fighting really hard to prevent it from even getting docketed. So it's going to arrive tomorrow, according to USPS priority mail in Washington, and then hopefully it'll be docketed by Monday. It'll be accepted and docketed and not go into some big, black hole called the 617. I need to clear this, guys. This is serious because I need to clear this tonight so that my computer is free. Okay, for the hearing. I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff going on tomorrow, but my hope is if anything happens or whatever it is, that the thing that I mailed in tomorrow gets accepted and docketed, even if it's denied, whatever it is. Because once it's docketed, it is there. It's on the permanent record, and anybody can go online and see it, like my last one. Now, when I went through some of the first part of my last filing, I said, oh, damn, I forgot to put the footnote up. I forgot to put the footnote about the writ of habeas corpus. And then oh, damn, I actually forgot to put the argument about the more detailed argument about the 11th Amendment that I had. The argument is there. I just wanted the detailed argument where I put in a constitutional challenge to the Judiciary Act of 1925. Okay, so these are kind of important things. If it's like a map, I just wanted the map of how to go about court reform going forward if I should not be here anymore. And it's out there, and I just hope, and it's out, it's in the lower court filing. They just docketed it today. I thought they were going to ignore it. I'm taking it as a good sign. I'm taking it as a positive sign for security too, by the way. If they didn't docket it today, I'd be having a fit right now on my own personal security. But they docketed it, which tells me, and they docketed it like at 1:11, or I have to check this a little bit. What time was this? Hold on a minute, you guys. No reply. Okay, this one right here. Look at that. It's at 1:11. So I filed something today I filed something today, and I purposely sent it an email at 2:22. I was close to 2:20. Anyway, whoever's out there, if that's you doing that and talking to me, the good guys, 1:11, and not the bad guys, thank you. I appreciate it. This is everything. So it was an e-filing. It's accepted. It's on the lower court docket. You'll see it there, and if anything happens at the hearing, if anywhere else, I love this 1:11 p.m. and I feel safe with that. So I'll go over this later, though. So anyway, it would be nice if it could get docketed at the U.S. Supreme Court site and not, the court clerks up there don't do stuff to it and reject it or hide it, or it gets stuck in the mail queue for 3 weeks before it's even received and all that stuff. Okay, so I'm trying. If it gets docketed, I'm all set. I mean, I'm all set now, but I would really make me very happy. In other words, I could die after that. I'm okay. I mean, I'm not saying, okay. All right. So I have 40 minutes, and then I'm going to stop and eat dinner and relax, and then check out anything else going on until they close over there. I have one thing to do after they close the courts over there at 5 o'clock, and then I'm free until the hearing tomorrow, and then I could concentrate on other things. So one of the things, let's see what we have here. So when I do the rest of my court filing, probably tomorrow after the hearing, Nicole reads her latest court filing, and it's going to be what I'm talking about right now. It's actually I don't have to, because it's right there, you guys. It was accepted at 1:11 p.m. my time. So earlier in the morning. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so in that, I just want to go over this real fast before I delete this. I don't even need this. Actually, I'll get done with it. These could all be deleted. They've just been up here forever. This was up here for 2 weeks. I just need to clear it. So Article 3 of the Constitution, this is for lawyers out there. It's very short. Article 1 and Article 2, establishing the executive and the legislative branches, are really long. But this one is short and sweet, and so important that it gets followed exactly because it's so short. And yet, to me, it's the most important. To me, it is. Well, I mean, it's all important because it all works together. But just because it's short doesn't mean it's less important. And just because it's third doesn't mean it's less important. And just because it's short and doesn't say very much doesn't mean we get to alter it all we want. They altered it right at a very critical part right now called, okay, so Article 3, it stands. We're going to look at the judicial power, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm going to do this really quickly. When the 11th Amendment came out, it's already in my filing, guys. It's already in my filing. So what I'm going to say is, the 11th Amendment came out. Bad actor. Okay, we'll go through it. Why not? We'll spend 10 minutes on this. It's important, guys. I'm going to look at Section 2, Clause 1, and Section 2, Clause 2, because the 11th Amendment claims to alter Clause 1, and it doesn't. It alters this sentence right here. In all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers and councils, and those in which a state shall be a party, the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction. This is the only thing, not even all of it, in all cases. This is all it does. Okay, we're going to show you. The 11th Amendment is strictly, in all cases, affecting a state, in which in all cases affecting okay, in all cases in which a state shall be a party, the Supreme Court shall. These are the only words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There are 16 words in the U.S. Constitution only. It does not affect anything else. The 11th Amendment came in. Yes, they did make a mistake in the original Constitution when they, okay, well, now I have to go back up to Section 1, to Section 2, Clause 1. Section 2, Clause 1. So what we're going to do is, this is all that the 11th Amendment affects. In which a state shall be a party, the Supreme Court should have original jurisdiction. All the 11th Amendment does is it says no. And it doesn't even, it's not, in all cases in which a state shall be a party, the Supreme Court should have original jurisdiction. No, we can't do that. We have to take away original jurisdiction, not for all state, not for all of them, but only for the ones in which a state and a citizen are against each other. So that's state versus citizen or citizen versus state. So if you guys think about this for a minute, original jurisdiction, I'm talking to lawyers right now. Everybody else, I mean, I'm sorry. This is just lawyers, and just pay attention. You guys know this stuff, kind of. But if you think about it for a second, why that mistake was, they didn't think it through. That means that what they were granting, and they're trying to be fair. They're trying to say, you know, you want to make sure that the state court system acts fairly if there is a foreigner, like if there is a traveler. I'm a traveler and I go to another state, and then the state convicts me of a crime. I'm in another state that's not my state. And what the founders were trying to do was to make sure that there was fairness, that when I'm in that state and then the state court convicts me, that because I'm a foreigner and I'm from a different state, I don't get treated unfairly. So, you know, the idea was there that the Supreme Court, you know, they didn't know it was going to get as big as it did and all this stuff, would take that case as the trial case, like not even the appellate case, like the trial case, like a trial where you sit and you get the jury and all that. That takes a lot of resources. Okay. It's okay if it's a state with another state because nobody else can try that. But if it's a state with a citizen, that's a lot of cases. That means that's just cray-cray. It was just too much. So they needed to change that. And that's all they changed. They didn't say that, well, since then it's been misinterpreted to mean states can't be sued by any citizens at all, from out of state or in state or whatever it is. It's just crazy. Or the whole government can't be sued. I mean, it's mind-boggling. Don't worry. I mean, I'm telling you, 50 years from now, 10 years from now, even 3 years from now, people are going to look at this and go, what the frig were you thinking? Like, what? Like, it's just so crazy, you guys. Trust me on this, that I'm going to be right in the future, or at least Alexander Hamilton, as I'm channeling him, is having a fit over this, and it's going to be adjusted. Okay, so this is what they're talking about. Okay. The judicial power shall extend, in which the United States shall be, to controversies between two or more states. So, to controversies between a state and citizens of another state. And between citizens and citizens of a state, that's the only one. So, we're talking about 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So, 24 words. Those are the only words that the 11th Amendment affects. It does not, that's it. And it's only the original jurisdiction part of it. Okay? The fact that the Supreme Court has power over this is still there, and they don't have discretion. Oh, fuck me. Okay, so that's Article 3. Keep an eye on these words. Okay? We might even come back to this. But, so here's the 11th Amendment. Okay, now, the judicial power of the United States shall not be construed. Oh, okay. So, okay. The judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity commenced or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state or by citizens or subjects of a foreign state. I mean, I get that. They're just trying to get the too many lawsuits coming this way, out of original jurisdiction. So that's all. And the way you know this is because, why am I doing this, guys? I'm going to read this later. This isn't that important. I'm just trying to get rid of it. Because this is really important, and this could be the main reason why I get killed, is because because this is so important, you guys, that the 11th Amendment be read the way it is modernly and not the way it was originally meant to be read. Okay? This is the way it was originally meant to be read, and if we follow the Constitution, there's a lot of bad actors who do not want this to happen. This is it. So when I mentioned this, and I added it in the renewed application for a stay, this is triggering all sorts of stuff. And that's probably why my subconscious said you better cover this. I'll cover this later, though. Commenced or prosecuted means original, and there's no such thing as an appellate case that is commenced or prosecuted. Commenced, prosecuted, this is all trial court language. And Chief Justice John Marshall confirms it, and it's all there. Okay, so we'll go through this later, but I just want to erase this. That's why it's here, is to tell you about this. We're going to go through it later, and we're going to go through why the Judiciary Act that gives the Supreme Court discretion of whether they take up these kind of pro se constitutional challenges, not pro se, just constitutional challenges of state laws by a citizen. That is 100% the most protected lawsuit in all of the history of the Constitution and history of our country. It was intended that way, 5 times more important than any 2 states coming together, than any kind of private entity, anything. Is what I am trying to do right now is the constitutional challenge against a state law by a citizen, period. It's protected in like 6 different places. Okay, and for them to come up with the 11th Amendment, or not come up, but try to interpret the 11th Amendment to mean that whenever this comes before the Supreme Court can just say yay or nay to it. No, the Supreme Court cannot say yay or nay. They have to take it up and say something. They have to say, we will take it up, and then say, even if it's just one line or an argument, they have to say why this is not, the challenge is either denied or yes, but they can't say we're not even going to take up the subject. They cannot do that. Okay, period. So the writ of certiorari, where we sit here and wring our hands and say, oh, I hope the 1 in 10 million chance that it will even be reviewed goes up. They can't. No, that's just unconstitutional. It's just so vital. Okay, they have to take it up. If it reaches up to that court, and we're still, and then everybody behaves a lot better than they are now. I mean, at first they're going to say, oh, that's going to really flood the court. Of course, because there's so many unconstitutional laws out there, and so much, it's just off the hook right now. Okay, but that's because it's like we're going to set the law. It's too late. I mean, it's not too late, but I mean, it's like if we had done it when the country was younger, like a little baby. It's just like trying to train a baby a certain way or have them develop a certain way, and now they're teenagers and they're out of control and they never had any kind of discipline. And I'm not talking spank, I'm talking discipline means teaching. So that's where we are right now as a country. Okay, we were broken at 5. We were broken at a young age, and then we went off, and now we're going to get back to the way it should be, and it's going to take a while at first, but we'll get there, and then things will be better. But for now, we're just like out of control teenagers, and the Constitution hasn't been working since 1913, so we got a big mess to clean up. But once we get rid of the money, it's going to be okay. All right, so I'm getting rid of this. Oh, and the construed, it shall not be construed. I needed to do this too. So, oh my God. In my Nicole reads her latest court filing part 2, I kept saying conscrewed. Silent can be conscrewed. Not silence can be conscrewed. All right, so let's just do this real fast. So it's a big deal for me because I could write 1 million words and write the most brilliant anything in my life, and then I just say one odd, stupid word of poor grammar like this, where my past comes up. I mean, my mom was always very big. My dad wasn't. He would say, she don't, he don't. He wasn't. He was like a farmer, and he not really that educated. Fantastic in other ways. Especially just loving my mom is sometimes the most important thing you could do, no matter what, is for the parents to love each other. But they were both French Canadian and spoke French at home, so English wasn't her first language, but she was big on speaking right, and she was very educated, so she was. But sometimes, it just, I think sometimes some of my, and I'm, oh my God, I'm regressing back to some of the stuff right now. Like some of the stuff that comes up, I know how to say this, I know how to do that, but it's going back to stuff I learned first when I was younger. So I say conscrewed here, and it just ruins everything. Like if I were, because I'm so prejudiced myself. Like I'm really, as soon as I hear anybody make a grammatical mistake, I have a different view of them. Like not so much a bad view as much as, I don't know. It's not a bad view of them because I do it myself, but it is a view that I don't want people to have of me. I don't want, for instance, to stand up in front of the Supreme Court if I ever can finally, God, not God forbid, but God willing, get up in front of them, I don't want to say something like conscrewed. I mean, I just, and the people who will back me being up there will know when I say construed that I'm not ready for this, and I'm ready. Maybe I'm not. So, this is like a big thorn in my side that I said this, and I tried to correct it here, but I did it twice. And then I started to go in on the 11th Amendment, and the word I see there, right in the 11th Amendment, construed. After I went through this, remember I said, oh, I need to do the writ of habeas corpus, and it could have been a subconscious thing, like the dead people, or subconscious, or it's just the dead people's sense of humor. Remember dead people humor? I used to talk about this all the time. This is so mean. Maybe I needed to be humbled, because this really is the best filing possibly in the history of filings. And here I am reading it, and I say conscrewed, and it puts me in, and it's my subconscious telling me I need to humble myself a little bit more here. So anyway, here I am. Not doing that. Silence can be construed as denial. Okay, in my defense, the word construed means it's a con screwing you. It's conscrewed. Okay, that's not quite in my, but seriously, it should be conscrewed, and maybe in the future it will be, but it's construed. Okay, and I did it twice because who knows. And then the Supreme Court, there are some times during this that I'll say Supreme Court, and I have to remember I have filings in both the California Supreme Court and the U.S. Supreme Court, and I have to really focus on not saying Supreme Court. Okay, yeah, and then I say it again here. And by that, it's been misconstrued to mean, I can go out. Shit. Just shoot me now. Just shoot me now. And because also, usually when I go to sleep that night, these kind of errors will come into my brain. This one never did. It did when I read the 11th Amendment, and I said, oh my God, it's not conscrewed, it's construed. So anyway, thank God I was able to make at least a correction like that night or the next day. Whatever, that's the construed. Okay, this is for history too, so I can look back on this and hopefully laugh, but it still drives me crazy. This is driving me crazy, and it's gonna humble me. Sorry guys, I'm a lot brighter than that, so it's not a brightness thing. It's just I really care about the grammar. Okay, that's all. That's the only thing I want to get across here. It's just a big deal for me. Okay, and that really killed me when I found out that I'm saying construed. Now, fortunately, I've got I've got Google AI now helping me a lot, and because the writing, a lot of times, even in the writing, I'll try to use bigger words than I think, and then that's the most embarrassing thing sometimes, is when you are trying to sound lawyerly and you use the wrong word for something. But at least I'm trying. I just want everybody to know I care about grammar. It's a big deal to me, and I'm open for corrections always. Okay, but I think this is the only one. There could be others in there. Okay, bye. 38. During a lot of my writings, I'll talk about a case I had. It was like the second or third time I was arrested and went to jail, and it was threatening a family court commissioner. It was just the day after I filed, I posted this whole big thing on 9/11. It was kind of related, possibly or possibly not. But if you go, and I can't afford buying the transcripts for this, but by the way, I think all of this, the rest of this is going to be what I'm going to call, I looked at it briefly, and it's going to be Nicole tries to gain some credibility after saying conscrewed twice. I think this is what this is I said conscrewed, and then you guys are going, well, how can we trust anything she says? So so during my filings, I talk about this case from 2000. It began in 2007. I spent over 3 months in jail, demanded a speedy trial, not guilty the whole time. I couldn't afford the bail, but it was threatening the family court commissioner. Her name was Commissioner Marjorie Slaybach. And I always claim that I spent most of my time on the witness stand defending Britney Spears against what was going on at that time with her case against the family court and against her attorneys. And her attorney at the time, Laura Wasser. Now, I'm not sure about Samantha Spector, and I never mentioned Laura Wasser by name on the witness stand. I don't even think I knew who she was at that time. I think I mentioned Britney Spears a lot and maybe her attorneys. And then since then, I've been very critical. But I always use this as when I'm talking about stuff now against the family court, I'm saying I have a long history of this. And before that, in 2006, I had a website up and I was just ticking off a lot of people, even back then, on the family court. And I'm saying that's the main motivation behind everything going on right now politically, is I've been enemies with family court for a long time. And Laura Wasser now, who was Kelly Clarkson's attorney. Okay, so I had a little doohickey too. I've been reading. Remember that footnote one? My footnotes are killer, by the way. All of them. I mean, oh my God, you should see the ones in my most recent filing. The footnotes are almost everything, you guys. Like, it's just amazing. Kelly, I was thinking this, like, a lot of times when you sing or when you talk about the technical stuff about singing, it just, flies over almost everybody's head, my head, and I just trust you. And I know you're talented. If anything legal, if you're talking about me when I talk about with the stuff in my footnotes, and if you want to sound smart, if anybody asks about me, you can say, yeah, boy, she's got killer footnotes. I mean, I really do. My footnotes are killer. Just know that about me. You rest assured you will not be thought of as, you will be thought smart if you say my footnotes are real killers. So we're going to search anyway. Let's just search. I'm just showing you where you can go to get this if you can afford it. And I might be able to afford it later, but I can't. You just search my name. You search my name. You could just search my defendant name. And what comes up is, oh shoot, my session is timed out. Okay, let's try this again then. This is the Superior Court of California, County of San Francisco. There's the website. You just search it. And nowadays, I swear, this is so much better. You go not to the case number, you go to defendant name, you put in Young, and you put in my first name, you get, and then you search it. 2 cases come up. I forget which one is which. One of them was 2011. I think this is the one. Yeah, so I was arrested 10/16/2007, one day after. If you see, I wrote a letter to all look at my rockusa.blogspot.com, RockUSA website. It's on 9/11. I posted, I faxed a letter to all 345 members of Congress or something, and the letter, and those all faxed on October 15th, 2007. And then here I am arrested. It could have been related, or it could have been me sensing what I sense now. Like, I felt like I was on the verge of being arrested, or maybe they warned me about it like Friday. I don't know what happened, but it was very close. And then I was told, oh, you'll be let out in a day. Like, a lot of people don't realize when they talk to me that no, they're not going to let me out in a fucking day. Okay, I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, but just. I said it the last time I was arrested. I said, this time I go to jail, they're not going to let me out. And it was 190 days on a false arrest. Okay, same this time. Why are you acting this way? They can't falsely arrest you and then to keep you in jail for the rest of your life. And it's like, no. Okay, I'm preparing right now. Right now I'm preparing everything for being arrested for a long time. Okay, I've got the cat food up, so they'll be okay until my daughter gets back from her trip and whatever it is. Okay, because. No. And I said that back then, you could tell. That's why I posted all this. And yeah, I was there 3 months when I got to trial, and the judge was shocked, of course, and everybody knew it. He started the whole thing saying, I know Commissioner Slaybach. She's in the courtroom. She trained me as a family court judge. They put me in shackles and brought me over to the civil court. It's this whole thing. But they've been every judge on every single case I've had since 2000 in California since, well, it's the only place, since 1994 have been judge shopped. Okay, it's just I'm that special. Okay, so you know, so yeah, and because okay, so they shackle me up, and then I'm just making this as a point. I was just looking for his name when I came over here. It's Judge Thomas Mellon. He has since passed, but he was up for election in June. Okay, so in June of 2028. Let me just tell the whole story here. Okay, so this guy's never heard a criminal case in his life. I'm shackled for the first time to go from the criminal court in San Francisco, which is right next to the jail, so you don't have to be shackled and driven in a van across town the way I was. I was shackled and driven across town for my criminal judge to be the best friend of Commissioner Marjorie Slayback when I was accused of 2 felony counts of threatening her, and the deal he made before the trial, and he's up there saying stuff that he shouldn't have known. Like, you could tell he was getting information from her. Okay, and he's like, oh, this is I'm here because I'm going to be very easy on you, and 5 years in prison I think is a good, you should take that. I mean, this is the fucking, like, and he's a good judge. He was a good judge. He is actually like a Republican, I guess, or whatever. But he was in San Francisco and appointed by Schwarzenegger. And my own attorney liked him. And he said he was fair and all this stuff. But he's up for election in June. She's an openly lesbian family court commissioner. And if he doesn't do everything she asks, and all the lesbians up there and all the gay, whatever it is, he's going to get voted off. I did my trial. I said no to his deal, 3 to 5 years or something, or even 2 years. I forget what it was. He kept lowering it. Well, just a year then. And it was like 2 years after a while, and then 1 year, whatever. The first thing this guy does when the jury comes in, and it was rigged, and I knew ahead of time, and I told my own attorney what to look out for. Even with the rigged jury, I won this anyway. They said in deliberations, not guilty after 10 minutes. And afterwards, when you win, you could talk to the jury. They were going, what the fuck? So they were saying, you really need to continue this. Like, because they saw me on the witness stand, they saw her on the witness stand. But even before that, the judge is like, I know her. She's in the courtroom below me, and she trained me when I first got on the bench. But I want you to know I could be very unbiased in this whole thing. And then you could like, on what fucking planet do these judges live? On what fucking planet does anybody in the judiciary, all the way up to the Supreme Court, because anybody in public sitting on a jury, and even the rigged jury, there was one lady, and I have a whole story about it, and then they said they almost fleeced her because she was like, oh, I did not understand that. I did not. She's like this Chinese lady, and he put her on the bench specifically over another one who couldn't speak Chinese because he was running for re-election. And he was like, I understand the Chinese community, and if you can understand even just a little bit, you need to stay on this jury. And there was one next to her that didn't speak English at all. He specifically dismissed her, but they were both put there on purpose to put on this whole show so that she stayed on. And I said, well, what can I do? That's the one, that's the plant. And she was like, I do not, she didn't want to say not guilty. She wanted to make it a hung jury. And the jury said they were about ready to fleece her. They were going to fleece her. And she immediately changed her mind, but that was the rigged, and it didn't work. And they said not guilty in under 10 minutes, and 5 of those minutes were almost fleecing this girl who's saying, when she said she could understand it, she says, I did not understand. I cannot say not guilty. I did not understand. And they were going to fleece her. Okay? After he made sure we could not dismiss her without looking bad, he assured that she had a spot on the jury. She was rigged 100%. Anyway, I'm not going to get through with this. Yes, I am. You know what? I don't care. I'm not even in any rush. It was very cleansing for me because Kelly always talks about how she writes her songs to write to get it out. This is what I was doing. Like, there was a 4-day period when I was rushing to try to get some writing done or prepare for some filing, and I just could not stop. I was just trying to do something here, and I wrote, like, I would say probably 6 pages not even what I'm saying right now. I didn't even write this part down. It was about Commissioner Slaybach. And I wrote 6 pages and then finally whittled it down. It was a Yelp review. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. I did one Yelp review, boom, off the bat, immediately. And then I thought it was taken down. It wasn't. They put it into an unrecommended. So I said, oh, no, hey, Google, they took this down. And he said, well, you can't do this. You can't do that. And I know I couldn't do these other things. And I said, whatever. Okay, let's do this. So I had to write something a little bit nicer. And it took like 6 pages to get it all out. And then I whittled it down to something nicer that was around 5,000 characters. And then I gave it to Google AI, because Google AI is very good at getting me from here to, from like down here to up here. But I need to do something in between. He can't get me from this mode to this mode automatically. It's just all screwed up. So if I can get my thing to somewhere semi-nice, and then he's just fantastic. So I was going to post that, and then I found out, oh no, the other one is there. It's just in the unrecommended.
Ring, ring.
Oh, is that the Supreme Court?
Ring, ring.
No. Okay. What time is it? Okay. It's 4 o'clock. It's 3:51. Okay. No, that wasn't them. As soon as you file anything, by the way, with the Supreme Court of California, you get 1 million spam calls from 415 area code. I mean, that's my that's my area code on my phone. But as soon as every time I file something there, it's like they just spam away. They're selling. I think it's because it's public and people are monitoring that, and they think if you're filing there, you have money. You're like a lawyer. So anyway. So let's get back to this, and I don't care if I go until I go to work. We're gonna be fine. My filing is filed, as I said, so we're okay. Everything is filed. Oh, but I do need to go over some. No, I don't. No, if I get arrested, what else? I think I've said everything, so I don't need to do a security thing. Though it is interesting to the lawyers. I will show you. Or it doesn't matter. Oh, no, it does. I do want to read the latest. I might do this at the end of this one. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so anyway, it was just amazing that I had judge shopping, that I had jury rigging. This is every single one of the cases I've had. And 2 of the 3 I won big time. 3 of the 4. Whatever. It's just I'm used to California corruption, and now it's just really helping me to anticipate what they're going to try. And even then, even then, both Google AI and even Google AI is shocked and awed by what is going on. Like, what the hell? Like, this is and lately, whenever you search Google AI, you used to search. Now I think I might be teaching Google AI, because if I start if I start fresh with him, he's right up. Or if I go to another account, or I'm not me, and I do this, he's starting to repeat some of the things I'm saying, like the First Amendment right to petition. It's like coming up, and I'm saying, where did you get that argument? I'm the only one really arguing this right now. And he's going to try to pretend maybe this was out there. That's what I'm saying. Maybe a lot of these arguments are out there, but they're not front and center the way I'm doing them right now, all in one place. So, but it's good that he's starting to sound like me now, instead of me having to. So Google AI, I love you, Google. I love you, Google AI. Okay, Google AI. Google AI, Google AI. All right, 6 minutes. So we're going to do this because I feel like it. Anyway, so he was voted off the bench because they came in and the jury says not guilty. I'm done. This is in January 2008. In June, he's voted off the bench, because he did not properly make sure that I went to jail for 3 years. There you go. So I have plenty of examples of this kind of baloney. So I'm challenging that, the law that everybody gets elected to the bench in California. It's crazy. It's like, okay. So that's part of it. But the other part of it is this idea that he and the judiciary thinks that the general public views them in a certain way. I mean, maybe a long time ago, not anymore. And it's not just me. I mean, I think this is reaching a boiling point now. Like, what the frig? Like, this is not what you think. It was not what you think in 2008. You just, if you, because people aren't paying attention. If they're on a jury and they're paying attention, this is shocking. So it's okay if you look at this and go, oh, you're being paranoid, this doesn't happen, or people have faith in whatever a judge says or whatever a judge does. But when they stand up there and say that, I could be non-biased and, all this stuff, and then I get on the stand, and then she gets on the stand, and they're like, what the frig has this girl been in jail for 3.5 months for, while requesting a speedy trial the whole time? And this is what, I mean, they were like, you need to keep doing whatever you're doing on the, they know I have family law reform. That's what I want to do. I told them about my kids, whatever it was. And they're going, you need to continue. And this is what I'm saying when I say, I stand here, I feel like I'm alone, I'm getting the shit beaten out of me, I go to jail often, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It was those jurors that really fuel me since 2008. I am doing this for you guys, and I'm still big. I'm fighting for juries. I still trust juries, especially when they're not rigged. And we need to get back to this because they are the only people I trust. And a judge who isn't elected, and and AI is going to make what people say is AI is going to replace us. No, AI is going to replace criminals in law, criminals in business, because it's just dissemination of facts. And they like even anybody going to a lawyer, if you're thinking about hiring a lawyer, check out what your rights are and check out and just do the scenario with an AI first. So yes, you probably do need an attorney because even especially now because the facts mean nothing. I mean, it helps, but you need an attorney who knows the judge because it's going to be on politics. So he's going to pick the judge who likes your blonde hair or who likes this or who said, it's because it's all politics. Okay. So that's why you need the attorney, but that's eventually going to go away, and AI is going to make that crap go away because he's like the best freaking legal aid I've ever had, because he'll tell you the rights, he'll tell you some laws, and he'll give you scenarios. And then of course now all the AIs all print at the very bottom, you need to go see an attorney if you have a legal problem, you need to go see it. I mean, they're trying hard, but there's no way. You're not going to be able to prevent Google AIs from giving out, it's not even legal advice. It's like, here is the law and here's the scenario and blah, blah, blah. And if you know that even before you go talk to an attorney, it is very helpful. And if you can run by what the attorney did or behaved and have Google AI explain it to you, it's very helpful. And he'll say, oh, no, that doesn't sound like right. Or he'll say, yeah, he's trying to do this, and Google will defend the attorney more than he should, except now maybe I think I'm teaching him otherwise. But yeah. Okay, so yeah. So that's why I'm saying this is to anybody thinking when I say I'm telling the judges out there or anybody viewing this, you guys, I'm not saying you're in danger or anything, but I'm saying you need to really get a check on what you think the public thinks of you, because this guy was in another planet, and maybe because he knew he was up for election and he's like a conservative and a very, whatever, and he's trying to look like he's gay friendly by putting me to jail for years, and it just backfired so badly. This is going to backfire is what I'm saying. Supreme Court, this is going to backfire, I think, because all I do is I'm open about everything I'm doing. I'm saying everything I'm doing, and if anybody pays attention, like a jury, they usually side with me because because of what I'm trying to do here. All right, so that's what I did when I got on the stand. So but I don't have the testimony. It's there now. I didn't know. I mean, look, you just go, here's the court case right there. CRI 023, here it is. Okay, and it was like, and I just wanted to look up Thomas Mellon. I found out he's dead. He did try to get voted back on the bench. He tried, and I don't think he made it or something. Okay, so here is when it was forthwith to be heard, transferred to trial and department before Judge Mellon. Counsel strips. I don't know. It should say here not guilty. by 1-4, no, 1-8. Oh, the trial is backwards? Oh no, it goes this way. 123. Oh, entered judgment. I remember it was like on my birthday. I remember the judge served me in jail on my birthday the notice to go to Alameda County to defend a restraining order against me. You fucking like okay, so this is all right. This is the best part, and I'm not stopping. Okay, so go there, look up this case stuff. There was the jury the second time in 2011 was 10 times more rigged. Everything was ahead of time. The judge, openly lesbian, the only open lesbian in all of San Francisco at the time in the criminal division or whatever it was. Not a bad person, but judge shopped. And then it's just the jury, my own public defender, everything rigged against me. They wouldn't let me do. They fried me, like a year and whatever. And but I came out and I showed all the rigging that went on. They didn't even have a real arrest warrant. It was just a squiggle line. It was a forged arrest warrant that they sent over. I couldn't believe they did this. Like right now, I can't believe they're doing this. Like I crossed the state line purposely to go into Arizona, and then I didn't trust there was a lot of cops floating around. I wanted to get farther away from California, so I drove all the way to Nashville because I was familiar with the area. I knew I could get online in the library there, and I knew a lot of places at the time where I can get online on the computer, free Wi-Fi, that I wasn't aware of in other places, and I didn't know about hotspots or anything like that. I just needed a place where I can get online and deal with stuff going on. And while I was at the library in Nashville with my kids, that's where I was arrested. And I was like, this is a fake arrest warrant. They committed a federal crime by crossing state lines with I thought by the time I got back to San Francisco, there were going to be feds everywhere and everybody's arrested for all the fake stuff. And then I end up spending almost a year in jail. It's just like, yeah, there we go. Rosa Parks, I am not challenging these laws and things. I am not Rosa Parks. I do not have the machinery behind me that I think is behind me. Though it could be right now. I don't know. We'll see. That's what I'm saying. If I'm arrested and the machinery isn't behind me or even killed or whatever, I think I'm okay. I'm okay with what I've accomplished in this latest filing. Okay? All right. Okay. So you go bye-bye. What is over here? You go bye-bye. You get a car. Oh, so there was, when I was going through a period where I'd search my name. Oh, okay, let's just do this first. So I'm curious about Commissioner Marjorie Slaybach. So she was doing stuff last time I searched. I don't do anything, but let's do Marjorie Slaybach. Okay, and then if you search her, the second thing that comes up, oh, it's the first thing. It used to be the second thing. I think it's because of my review of her. Because it used to be the second or third thing, and now it's the first thing that comes up. And if you go here, I looked at it. She only has 2 reviews anyway. But, okay, I thought maybe she would pass. She's older, but she is not. She's only 75, so she's still going at it. Okay, so if you come here, she does private judging in San Francisco. I worked hard to get her booted from the bench. It was in 2008. And after this, I tried, and I still had I couldn't believe. Anyway, it's written. It was still going on with my kids and with her for another 3 years. And then she was finally off the bench. She's still abusing. But she has a lot of people say, Mark said... Okay, so her reviews are always 1 or 2. People don't like her, except for this first one that they put up there, and she's fantastic and all this. But everybody else says, I don't know if that's made up or not. But mine was up here, and it was taken down because I came over here and it wasn't there anymore. And I said, oh, they took it down, as usual. But to Yelp's credit, thank God, Yelp is doing fine. They didn't take it down. They put it up. They just put it up under not recommended. Down here, I didn't know this. Where is it? There's like a not recommended. I mean, you have to find it, but it's still there. So I didn't repost or anything. I was going to. Look at this. Four other. It's smaller, but I don't care. Here it is. So you have to come here, and then you'll see what I just wrote without going through my Google AI. I just wrote it because I was pissed, and it's because it's the truth. So sometimes if I have an audience out there, there are the people who just want the truth, no matter how speculative it is, and no matter how not politically correct, and they appreciate that. Okay, and that's very helpful to them, even though they won't support me in what I'm saying. They won't support me in what I'm saying publicly. They won't support me publicly. But you're welcome. I know you appreciate the absolute truth of what I think is going on and what I'm saying, and sometimes I don't say it as nicely or whatever, but I don't want to sugarcoat it. I'm pissed off. I don't have time. I'm trying to do something else. So I wrote this review and then sent it, and it was up for like a day or two, and then it was gone. And then I'll show you the review that Google has that I was going to put up because I wanted to show you the process of using Google AI. And it shows you the different levels of people that I could reach, like just differently. And it really helps me. Google has helped me to reach more people and to get more credibility possibly in my filings and things like that. Okay. Even though even though the filings I did without Google AI are still like really good as far as the truth part of it. Okay, and being very insightful. So this is what I put up. This was mostly just because, okay, I was just pissed, and not even that. It's just the truth comes out when I'm pissed, and this is like, I just was tired of seeing her face, and still. Oh, the thing that I saw was that she was on the board of something for protecting kids. So she was there still pretending like she's protecting kids. And she's got mental issues, I think, or not. It could be just, she does have mental issues when she was on the stand. That was very apparent immediately when she's like, oh, my father used to beat me, and it was like, what the hell does that have to do with this stuff? I'm the oldest of whatever, and I had to protect myself and my siblings from a belt, and it's like, what? Like, why are you like, is everybody aware this should not be a person who's in charge of a family law case to me? Okay, and so anyway, that's what I'm saying. Go buy the damn transcript, you guys. I don't know what that is or if you can get it. It's hundreds of dollars probably to get all that stuff, okay? Go get it. I mean, get it and see what I said and see what she said. And see what the judge, she was actually placed in contempt of court at one point, and all that disappeared, I think. The court, I got this piece of paper. My attorney says, you should keep that piece of paper, and I don't have it. But it said she was in contempt of court because she was told ahead of time, do not talk about her previous arrests. And she did talk about my previous arrests, and she was the one who filed the arrest warrants on those. She did not say that during her. So she was found in contempt for mentioning that. You're not supposed to. I don't mind that, but as long as we can rebut and say, well, she was the one who signed their arrest warrants. And I think that's what did it. After they saw her going on, and they did this, and then I think that's what finally just put the nail in the coffin, when my attorney, who was on my side, unlike the next trial, he goes, he was good, unfortunately it was what I had, he listened to what I said about the rigging. He asked the questions of the jurors that I wanted to ask. Like, one of the questions I said, is anybody here related to a court clerk or a court clerk? And one said, my boyfriend's a court clerk. Bye. It was rigged. My boyfriend's a court clerk in the family court here. What? And the chances of that happening randomly, by the way, were like one. We calculate all the chances of this happening. Since then, you can calculate all the chances. Rig number one. This was doubly rigged, and they did that on my other case too. Anyway, he was so good. He said something like, "And who?" He cross-examined her or something, and he says, "And who signed those arrest warrants on all those previous arrests you're talking about?" "Oh, that was me." But he pretty much had her admit it just went downhill for her after her testimony herself. Her testimony herself was horrible, and afterwards it went downhill. And then when in her absence and in the absence of the jury, the judge found her at the behest of my own attorney. He really insisted on it, and he had to find her in contempt of court. The attorneys wouldn't do that now for me at all, or if they're against you. He was just a good attorney. Okay, And I had that piece of paper, but if you could find that that she was in contempt of court for doing this stuff. Now I have arguments about evidence and that it should all be presented, and you shouldn't keep out evidence of this or that or whatever it is, as long as you can explain it away this way. It was another thing that backfired. I mean, I wanted to say on the stand that she had me arrested several times. We couldn't mention that because you're not supposed to mention previous arrests. And it's like that was very pertinent. That this was like at her behest again, the third or fourth time. So, okay. Here we go. Judging from the fact that she is still around, winning awards and receiving political praises, I am pretty sure ex-San Francisco Family Court Commissioner Marjorie Slaybach is still a big favorite among the powerful gay pedophiles and infantophiles in San Francisco who run the entire court system in California. They know all you have to do is paint your opponent as a homophobe, quote unquote, and she will order whatever you want so that you can get complete control and custody over as many vulnerable children to molest and abuse as you desire. I did what I could back in 2006 to 2008 when my gay baby daddy, whom I purposely chose to co-parent with as a lesbian myself, painted me as a homophobe to her. Parentheses, because I was calling myself a bisexual back then, mostly from being embarrassed by the behavior of older, radical, biological parent-hating lesbians, exactly like Slaybach. She just hates biological parents. It's not even a male-female thing. She hates men, but it was anybody who's a biological parent. I think it's because she has a lesbian lover and I don't know if they have kids or not, but it's a kid thing with lesbians. If there's one having the baby, the biological factor versus the one who isn't having the baby, you lesbians, man, especially you older ones, get it out of your ass, get it out of your whatever, your system. Stop acting like this lady. It's sick. My kid's father did this to win full custody of our kids so that he could get out of the child support and custody arrangement we agreed upon until our youngest reached first grade. I'm just very relieved and grateful that he is not a pedophile. As I've said many times, I am certain a gay pedophile under the protection of Slaybach could easily molest kids in broad daylight right outside the civil courthouse on McAllister Street and get away with it. I still stand by that today. For her and possibly, I mean, look at the stuff that's, okay, anyway. In San Francisco, oh, hell yeah. Possibly in LA. It just saddens me thinking of all the kids who were abused in San Francisco in this way while she was a family court commissioner. In my case, it was just one abusive order after another to my kids as much as to me from this angry sicko. During a criminal trial in 2008, when felony charges of quote-unquote threatening a family court commissioner, i.e. Slaybach, were leveled against me at her behest, I was able to expose her ugliness and sickness to a jury that, likely with their jaws dropping to the floor over what they just witnessed when she testified, acquitted me of all charges in under 10 minutes of deliberations, and afterwards strongly encouraged me to continue my fight to reform family law so as to keep the likes of Slaybach as far away from vulnerable children of divorce as possible. That trial and these jurors' comments afterward are still fueling me to this day in my efforts to reform the entire court system, but especially family court, even though it took another 3 years after my trial in 2008 to finally get Slaybach canned from the bench in 2011. Parentheses, pretty absurd that the claim online now is that she retired. And I'm laughing like it's not funny, but I don't have any of the case information anymore, as that was only my third of 5 instances of being arrested, jailed, and losing everything through political persecution for my efforts to reform the justice system in California. If you can afford it, you can get all the details, including the court transcripts, if the record hasn't been doctored or removed since. And I put in parentheses, State of California versus Huguette Nicole Young, case number CRI-02338128. in San Francisco Superior Court. Filed date 2007-10-16. So that's October 16, 2007. Or check out my website that Slaybach once said should be taken down as quote unquote not being in the best interest of your children. I mean, I tried to buy transcripts of her saying this, and it cost me a lot of money. I had all that at one point, and then I lost all that stuff. That stuff was expensive, though, and they doctored it. I proved that they doctored it. I have whatever. They doctored some things, but not all things. Just, they're still doing it now, except now they're getting caught because everything's done on the computer. So I couldn't be happier right now. I could die of happiness right now. I'm catching them all the way up to the Supreme Court of California, possibly the U.S. Supreme Court. Okay, we'll see. All right. You could check out my website. One said should be taken down as not being in the best interest of your children. It's rights4families.wordpress.com. The best summary of the last 30 years of attempts to reform California courts is probably best summarized in Young v. Superior Court of Los Angeles County, California Supreme Court case S297228. I didn't have the Supreme Court, the first U.S. Supreme Court filing done here, but whatever. That case is I just did okay, whatever. Which I just filed on June 26, 2026. This was July 6th. Oh, I filed it on July 3rd, but I didn't want to say anything until it was docketed. And it was only docketed on July 10th. That's the U.S. Supreme Court one. It touches upon, there's nothing I could say until you have a case number for that one. So, it's like, well, okay. It also shows you how dumb it is that I had to wait a week before I mailed it on July 3rd and it was docketed a week later. Whereas if I were an attorney, I would have it, I could have it docketed the next day. So stupid. Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, and I'm killing myself, and I'll probably, get arrested and all this stuff. And all that it will do is make it happen probably a week sooner than it will anyway. All this stuff is going to happen. There's no way in the future the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, is going to continue doing everything in paper, which is the most corrupt thing you could do possible. The court clerks are going to fight that up there like crazy. Everybody's going to fight that because, yes, you can change things all you want, the electronics, but you can't get away with it the way you can with the paper. So this is just stupid. Anyway, that's going to change, and it doesn't matter what I hope. Maybe my case will help, but it's only going to make things go faster by a week or so, probably. And even then, it's worth it, is what I'm saying. Even for 10 minutes. I'm very happy about this. I don't care. I get so sick of this that if you can make it happen faster by 10 minutes and help one person in the future, it will be so worth it. Like, seriously. Like, once you've been through it. And now I kind of know how the founders felt when they had this kind of persecution back in England. The star chambers and all that. That's what we have now again. That's what you cannot write and do the things I've done or Alexander Hamilton has written or the founders with that unless you have experienced it firsthand. And I'm talking about complete in-depth systemic administrative corruption, government corruption like this. Anyway, everybody, by the way, Whitney Cummings, she just recently did a video that was talking about, so Whitney Cummings out there, if anybody knows, she had one of her postings where she's smoking a cigar, so she was doing Tobacco Swamp, and then she colored her hair red, and that was Tobacco Swamp. And then the very next one, all of her things are now advertising marijuana, so she's no longer Tobacco Swamp. But then she had a whole big spiel about how the founding fathers did everything based on religion. And it's like, no, that's not true. So she was working for the religion swamp then. I'm not sure if she's working for Trump or what she's doing, but she's going through different swamps, and I'm always worried about her too for protection. She just did a great... Anyway, Whitney, you know this, or maybe you don't, but they did not come over here for religious freedom. They came over here because when they tried to do religious freedom, they found out through star chambers and all this stuff. So when they came here, they set up a system that wasn't just religious freedom, it was just freedom from Nazis. Okay? That's what it was. It's not just religious freedom, it's everything freedom. But people, the religion swamp gained some power in saying it was all religion. It's not all religion. It was, the number one thing was the financial rights, because they knew without financial rights, you cannot protect any other rights. So it was the first thing they put in the Constitution. No, I mean, and I can't believe it. Like, they did the whole Boston Tea Party, they did all this, and then the first thing that the Nazis attack is the damn taxes. They put up an emergency. They put the direct taxes. It was just temporary. In 1798, I mean, it's like not even 10 years after the ratification, the gay Nazis were already attacking the Constitution on the number one important thing, which was what the 16th Amendment finally killed a year later. In 100 years later, 1798. Well, 116 years later. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so. The best summary of the last 30 years is here. It touches upon the Superior Court of Los Angeles, which I just filed on June 26, 2026, and I will be reading that this weekend if I'm still here. It touches upon the 2008 criminal case in that one of the main defendants in an underlying pending civil case of mine that is related to the petition is Young versus TMZ in the Central District of California, number 2:25-CV-07597, is celebrity divorce attorney Laura Wasser. I spent a large part of my time on the witness stand during this 2008 trial defending Britney Spears from the actions of the Los Angeles family court system and from the likes of her own slimeball divorce attorney at the time, Laura Wasser, whom I've always said was the one who was actually screwing Spears behind the scenes even to this day. Okay, so when I start reading this stuff tomorrow or the next day, if I'm here, you're going to know my 11th Amendment arguments. I've already kind of introduced you to that, and you're going to know the Britney Spears, you're going to know the Laura Wasser footnote 1. It's not a footnote in there. It was a footnote in this filing, the Supreme Court filing. Footnote 1 of S297228 is the Laura Wasser, so it's related. Okay, so I do all this. It's taken down. So then I go to. Okay, I'm just getting rid of this, guys. But it's up there. Okay, so another thing that's going on is. Okay. Let's just get rid of you. We'll get rid of you. We'll get rid of, who is this? Oh, I need to get rid of this Google AI thing. Because I need to shut everything down, do an update on my computer, clear everything out, shut it off, and turn it on, and then 7:23. I'm not going to get to the other stuff, but it's okay, guys. We'll get to that stuff later. It's not as important as this. So this is just going to be a long house cleaning. 7:23. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll do real time and see if they've done anything or called me when they close at 5 o'clock, and then we'll be okay. 7:23. Okay, whatever. Blah, 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 blah. So you go. So I'm. Okay. What happened was I searched myself. Is this it? Yes. So I'm trying to figure out if this stuff comes up on searches of myself, whether I'm doing it or not, and I think it does. And what's happened is on searches both at Bing and at Google AI, that case is now, oh, no, what the hell? It used to be come up as number 1. What? This was an old Supreme Court filing. It just came up as number 1 like 5 minutes ago. The Supreme Court filing, and now it's not there anywhere. Oh my God, are you freaking kidding me? Oh, Google. Oh my God. You guys are seeing this in real time. Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You guys. Oh my God, you guys. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. I'm about ready to be arrested. Because they always take down any defense I have that you can see if you search my name online. Oh, okay, let's go to Bing. Oh my God. As long as, oh my God. Oh, that's pretty. Bing always had. Okay, we're gonna search you get Nicole Young. Oh my God. And my Supreme Court case does not come up at all. It used to come up first. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Whew. There it is. And now it's moving up. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the important one. Okay, you guys? And there should be another one on the Friday or next Monday with another number. If they docket it, please, whoever's out there, get them to accept it and docket it. This one's important, but the one that has the constitutional challenge to the Judiciary Act of 1925. Oh my God! And all the even more footnotes, and then also the latest stuff going on at the lower courts. I mean, it's even better than this one. This is fine. I'm okay, and I'm glad that it's now number 4. And then we're gonna try the Google search one more time. Okay, let's try. This is Google. This is me. You guys saw it. Like, come on, Google. What the hell? By the way, oh my God, see this one? This is from 2013, and it's a parental rights one that I filed after the second arrest, where I spent a year, no, whatever, like almost 10 months in jail, whatever that was. The one where I said I crossed state lines because I knew before I crossed the lines that it was a forged arrest warrant. And I thought there's no way they're going to send an arrest warrant over the state lines, because that's now committing a major federal offense. If you cross the state lines and you do you wire transfer, as they did, a forged document like that. Okay, and I I thought at the time that you had to cross state lines for this, but you don't, but it doesn't matter. I mean, whatever. I was just shocked. And I kept asking him for a copy of that, and the arresting officers, LAPD, I'm sorry, San Francisco SFPD, 2 of them flew all the way to Nashville after I spent 3 weeks in there. They go, "Oh, we're sorry, we came out so late." 1 minute before I'm ready to be released. That's a big accident. And then I get in front of the judge out there, and the judge in Nashville goes, "What the hell? You've never seen anything like it, even if there's a murderer or something." Like, 2 police officers coming, and they were having fits, and she's very dangerous and all this. And he goes, "What the hell did you do out there that's causing this?" He had never seen anything like it. Just as Judge Baudet said, even 13 years later, when she's talking to the other side, she's going, "Have you ever seen anything like this?" No, I'm just, okay, just keep in mind, I'm not like your average freaking defendant, petitioner, whatever it is. I wish people would, like, get a clue about that before they, that's why I defend myself, because it's very hard to explain this to an attorney. It's very costly, and that's why Google AI, I love you, because I don't have to explain very much, and he doesn't have to be shocked, and I don't have to pay him. It's like he gets it right away. As soon as I show him just a little bit, he's like, "We're right on it, let's go." And I don't have to ask for permission. I don't have to run it by a freaking attorney who's worried about his mortgage. All right. I do have a huge student loan debt that, thank you, Trump, if that's you, has never been bothered by. They've never tried to garnish my wages. They don't email me. It's just been accruing since 2017 for my law school. And I promise anybody out there, if I ever win so much as even just a little, whatever money I win, 100%, not even payments, I can't stand payments, is going to whatever the debt is right now, because it's been accruing all sorts of charges and interest since whatever, and it's probably up to $100,000 right now. Whatever I win, the first debt I pay is the federal government who loaned me the money to go to law school. All right? I don't care if it makes me broke again, because I want to be like my hero, my boss, Trump, and give back to the government. And then you say, that's just like throwing it into a hole. Not in this case. It's almost on principle, because it was just, I don't care how fraudulent it is. I don't care. That was the only thing that allowed me to go to law school. It was an online law school, but I could not afford to do this crap without them. Okay, I really couldn't. I could have possibly, but it would have struggled, and it would have made it worse and harder and not nearly as enjoyable as it was. Okay, and I haven't been able to pay back any of it, and I owe a lot, And why am I saying this? Because I promised that, and that's what I will do. And then you say, well, that should go to your kids or something. It's just like, yeah, I do. I'll pay them back first too, whatever it is. I think I've paid back a lot of, like, if I borrow now anything from them, it gets paid back within a week. $300 here, like this month, because I had to file so much in the court. It's so embarrassing, but it's not. It's okay. I mean, I usually do okay. It's just this month was a lot in filing fees for the U.S. Supreme Court. Like, seriously. And I want to get my tooth pulled. All right, we'll go over that a little bit later. Anyway, let's see. It's not coming up here. You get Nicole Young. You guys check Google. Look at it. It's not coming up here. Anywhere. What the hell? Why is not my Supreme Court case coming up on the Google search? Google, I just got through saying I love you. What the hell? By the way, all of the AIs are... okay. Is it 7:30? Let's do this real fast. Well, while we're here, why not? Who cares? So, I want to show you about what's going on with Google AI. Habeas corpus in the United States. So, a while ago, I'm going into the habeas corpus. I'm going to be challenging the exception that says the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended. And then they put a little comma and they said, except in the case of an emergency. And it's like, oh my God, Jesus, fucking H. Jesus, Mary, Joseph, whatever it is. It's just like, that needs to go or be very, very, very limited in its interpretation. Not as an interpretation that any little emergency created by some dramatic freaking gay Nazi, and you know how dramatic they can be. They create emergencies to suspend the Constitution. So it's just an illusory contract ever since then, if that's what they're going to interpret it as. And they did immediately. Anyway, so see this origin? That's me. I wrote this because I was going to say that the little exception never got the supermajority vote. I was under the impression, as a lot of people were, that you needed 9 out of the 13 states to agree to it before it could be incorporated in the Constitution. And Google AI said, no, Madison was very clear that whoever showed up, it had to be just a majority. And in this case, it was only 10, and 10 out of 10 agreed that the original first part of it. At the 1787 Constitutional Convention, habeas corpus was first introduced with a series of propositions on August 20th by Charles Pinckney, a delegate from South Carolina. Habeas corpus was discussed and voted on substantively. Oh my God, I'm still having a problem with that word. Substantively. See, I think I needed humbling again. I'm sorry, guys. On August, I cannot get that word right. And there isn't any word that says how to pronounce it. I guess it's substantively. See, they don't, usually there's a YouTube for it. Oh, here it is.
Substantively.
Substantively. Oh.
Substantively.
Substantively. Substantively. Substantively.
Substantively.
Substantively. Substantively. Substantively. Substantively. Substantively. Substantively.
Substantively.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay, dead people. Okay, subconscious. Whatever's out there. I'm humbled. I really am. You know what taught me that? Was this lady who came on the Kelly Clarkson show. She was, and then she was a military. And then Kelly says, thank you for your service. And then she says, it was my honor. That it's almost making me cry. Like, it was my honor. So it's my honor, and I need to be humbled like that. Okay. Substantively. Okay. So habeas corpus was discussed and voted on substantively on August 28th, 1787. 2 votes were cast on a motion by Governor Morris, delegate from Pennsylvania, for addition to the Constitution of the clause, quote, the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended, comma, unless where in cases of rebellion or invasion the public safety may require it. The first vote in favor of Mr. Morris's motion up to the word unless passed unanimously. In other words, yes, it shall not be suspended, period. And that's what it should be. Okay? Unless when in cases of rebellion, whatever. The first vote in favor of Mr. Morris's motion up to unless, but the second vote, which did not receive the required supermajority of 9 of the 13 states, it failed by a 7-3. It failed by a vote of 7-3. Specifically covered the suspension of the writ of habeas corpus proposed by Governor Morris, starting with the word unless as follows, quote unquote, unless where in cases of rebellion or invasion the public safety requests it. Okay, so Google AI says that that's a mistake when I said that when I said it did not receive the required supermajority, because it was not required, of 9 out of 13 states. And I'll go edit this later. I just like saying that because I'm not 100% sure, and I can see that I think he's right on that because, well, we'll see, because a lot of times Google could be wrong. So I really want to be sure before I edit this part. But I'm still making a point here. A couple of points here. One point is I did this maybe over a year ago or 2 years ago, and it's still there. And the point by coming over, let's just finish this. Specifically covered in the suspension of the writ of habeas corpus proposed by Governor Morris, starting with the word unless, and then Charles Pinckney and Charles Rutledge, representing South Carolina, and James Wilson, representing Pennsylvania, opposed the suspension of the writ of habeas corpus proposed by Governor Morris, with Pinckney wanting more specific wording for the suspension, including a time limit for the suspension, stating it should not be suspended but on the most urgent occasions, and then only for a limited time not exceeding 12 months, while Rutledge and Wilson argued that granting the federal government the power to suspend the writ of habeas corpus was an unnecessary risk. Okay, I just wanted to put that, and then, because I wanted to make the point that it did not, because I was going to later say this unless should be taken out because it never got the supermajority, and I'm wrong on that. But I did argue, let's just say this. The reason I'm taking you here is because that would have been taken down 5 years ago. I would not have even been able to put it up. I was like banned from Wikipedia for trying to do stuff there. Now it's just been completely abandoned because it takes too much money to try to control the narrative at Wikipedia. Now they've just abandoned Wikipedia, and the new Wikipedia, because everybody used to go here for information, now they don't. Now the new Wikipedia is AI. I don't go here anymore, and AI goes here sometimes, but a lot of times it gets fed from other places. As Google AI just proved to me right now. A half an hour ago, I searched my name on Google AI, and in my recent U.S. Supreme Court filing, 26A50, showed up as the #1 filing that you can see online. And now I can't even find it when I search my name on Google. It's still at Bing. But I'm telling you, even Google AI, if you do this at Grok as well, now if you ask Google AI about it, if you ask Google AI about it, I'm going to call him Google AI. It's a him. It's not there right now. So how can you change that in 30 minutes time? It's crazy. I'm logged in as myself too. I'm not even getting it logged in as myself, even though I go there all the time. Okay. I mean, it's just my name is on it, and you would think it would come up because all this week especially. So there is control from the outside over what shirts. Everybody knows this. It's just amazing that it's done so quickly. So the AIs are the Wikipedia of the past. But you see, just like they gave up on Wikipedia, they said, "Oh, we can't fight this truth." They're not going to be able to fight the truth of the AIs either. They'll keep going, and they're just done. They're done. And I'll show you, like the last stock standing, the I haven't even done that yet. We're going to go through this. What time is it? 7:39. Okay, so this was just going to be like, this was just going to be one, and then I take a break, and then I do another, but it's just going to be one long ass video, and I will call it whatever. We'll call it house cleaning, and it will be the last video before I'm arrested, if I am arrested. Okay, so if they don't take it down, so let me get to this part of it in my filing. Do I have anything over here? No, I don't. Okay, well, let's just go get it. Let's just go get it at e-filing accepted. My 111. Yeah, that one. Let's just go get the filing and we'll see. All right, they docketed it. My filing is up there. Renewed emergency application. Let's just go get it and look at it. I want to look at the writ of habeas corpus, and I'll show you what I wrote about it there in the footnote. So if you look up 26A50, the one that shows up #1 on Bing and no longer shows up on Google, damn. It doesn't have this footnote. I just added it. Because last time I went over it, I go, oh, I didn't have the footnote about the writ of habeas corpus. And now I did. Now I feel better. But I still, and then I looked over it again, and I forgot to put in the, oh, is that my tummy going? The cat. All right, let's see what we have. So this was filed. I mean, I filed it on the 21st, which was a couple of days ago, and they don't, a lot of times, there's one that I filed on the 16th or the 13th. I filed it on the 13th and they're still not docketing it. So that's still a problem, you guys. But it's okay. Please take notice that notice of submission of a renewed emergency application. I'm telling them that it's submitted, and I don't know what else to say. I mean, if I were an attorney, it would be filed by now. But because it's doing this whole mail thing again, it's just like, remember you guys, the Falkland Islands wars? All you OGs out there. The U.S. We're gonna go. Oh, maybe England. Who was going to war with the Falkland Islands? And then the ships were leaving from England. And we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you. The war. And we went on for like weeks while the ships were shipping over to the Falkland Islands. It feels like that here. I'm filing stuff, going, you guys are in so much trouble. I'm filing something with the Supreme Court, and then I mail it, and it's like, yeah, it's coming. It's coming in the mail. Oh, it's gonna come. And it's just so ridiculous, you guys. This is ridiculous. As the Falkland Islands War, where the ships took 2 weeks to get there. I'm gonna get you. Oh my God, so stupid. Anyway, so it's on the mail, and hopefully they'll docket it or not, whatever. But I wanted to show you footnote. Okay, footnote. We're gonna look for a footnote about the writ of habeas corpus. Where are you, writ? Okay, I forgot to put in more amendment. I forgot to put in more of the Constitution here on this new one, because I have like 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, and 16 that should be here. I don't know if I have room for it, but I would put like U.S. Constitutional Amendments 12 through 16 here, and I don't, or all of them. Just put the whole Constitution, the whole Constitution. Okay, it's okay. Oh, sure. Quiet. So I talk about the writ. Well, look for footnotes. My stomach. My stomach is telling me go eat. Okay. Oh, here's a footnote. Here it is. Okay. So the core due process shield. The next most important rights of procedural and substantive. Oh, substantive. I know how to do it. You just say sub. Like the sub is where the. Okay. Here we go. The next most important rights of procedural and substantive. There we go. The next most important rights of procedural and substantive due process. I got it, you guys. I got it. The next most important rights. I'm ready to go before the Supreme Court now. I don't think things should be construed. And I love substantive due process. I love substantive due process. Substantive. You just have to slow down when you say it, that's all. I love substantive due process. I love substantive due process. I love procedural and substantive due process. I love procedural and substantive due process. Holy shit. Okay, I got it. Due process. The next most important rights of procedural and substantive due process are represented by the oldest written human right in history, the writ of habeas corpus at Article 1, Section 9, Clause 2. Footnote number 2. Applicant preserves the for future petition the structural challenge to the qualification clause of Article 1, Section 9, Clause 2, quote unquote, unless where in cases of rebellion or invasion, blah, blah, blah. Convention records from August 28, 1787 show that while the absolute privilege of the writ passed unanimously, the subsequent suspension proviso faced fierce opposition, securing only a narrow 7-3 divisional vote. It wasn't narrow. That's kind of this is a little bit of Google AI writing, and I kind of left it in there, but I went over it with him and I said a narrow would have been 7-4. 5-5, I think, would have lost. 7-4. It's narrow. It's narrower than it should be for such an important provision. And I'm saying that the gay Nazis back then knew more than anywhere that this was a very important provision to put in here. So they either did this fraudulently. Even the 7-3 vote could have been fraudulent, or at least heavily stacked politically, like they paid everybody to get in there and make sure that this passed. I mean, either way, if it was done fraudulently, it should be removed from the Constitution, and if not, it should be at least interpreted very narrowly, having only to do with the writ, and that's it, not everything else the way they've interpreted it. Okay, the fierce opposition, securing only a narrow 7-3 divisional vote. Applicant maintains that providing an emergency exception to this most fundamental of rights is structurally absurd, as a mere writing cannot be inherently dangerous. Okay, what is the emergency? You can't write that. It's a writing. There's no such thing as an emergency. I mean, what happens after the writing, maybe, but this not to tell the person why they are in jail is not an emergency to prevent that. You could tell them anytime. You could keep them in jail, and maybe that's against the law, but the writ doesn't say people are let out. It just says you have to tell them why they are in jail. Okay, that's all. So, so the implication is if you don't have a right to keep them in jail, then they'd be let out. But if you say you are in jail because you are involved in a rebellion, then they stay in jail. You can't say if there's a rebellion, you can't tell them why they are in jail. It just makes no sense, you guys, if you just think about it for 3 fucking seconds. Okay, I promise you, anybody who's interested in this, if you're not interested or it's too confusing, go take care of your family. You don't belong here. But I mean, come on. Come on, people who want to do this. Come on, people who really are interested in constitutional law. And you, U.S. Supreme Court justices especially. Okay? Don't do this on politics. Don't do this because, well, in Alito's case, he's being threatened to be outed as a gay man. And in, who is it? Jackson Brown's case, it's because they're threatening to out her husband as a gay man. And then what else is going on? Whatever else they have threatening him. Okay, all right. Applicant maintains that providing an emergency exception to this most fundamental of rights is structurally absurd, as a mere writing cannot be inherently dangerous, and protection is most required during an emergency. That's the only time the Constitution counts. We don't even care about the Constitution until there's an emergency or a problem. And that's when it's most when you don't suspend it. Otherwise, it's just illusory. You guys, everybody is required in civil class in high school to take just contract law, a law class. It is so easy to understand for even high school students, just contract law, because everything stems from that. You can put everything into contract law, the entire constitutional contract. Okay, and if you can identify an illusory contract, then then that's all you need to understand about everything in the Constitution, about everything about law. Okay, the marriage contract, it's an illusory contract because they decide only after the breach what happens based on like weird moving target facts. You can't do that in a contract. It's an illusory contract. Okay. And protection most required during an emergency. Historically, this proviso, did I say proviso before? Oh my God, you guys, I know how proviso is pronounced. If I said proviso before, if I go over this, it's just, this is happening right now. A couple of things are going on though. When I was writing this, oh, let me explain this though. When I was writing this, there was a part when I said, like, the fact that the justices are making these political decisions does not reflect poorly on them. Before I put badly, and I changed it to poorly on their character because they're just trying to protect their families. I mean, it's just too much pressure when they're going to be voted off the bench unless they vote a certain way. So I could not figure out how to spell poorly. You could look up my Google searches. I'm going, it's not P-O-U-R, and it's not P-O-R-E, but you think I think that's early Alzheimer's? It is a little bit, but I don't think so, because I used to, my sister, I mean, she's passed since, and she was funny, but she says, oh yeah, I've had that before when she was in college and studying, and your brain is fried, and I did this in college a couple of times. She says, oh no, it was her daughter. We had this conversation, her daughter, Gabrielle, my niece, but her mom, I think she said it came from her mom, but she says, it's pretty bad when you're wondering how the is spelled. T-H-A? I just laughed so hard because this is exactly, like, I was shocked and I didn't want to, and sometimes I say, I'm going to sit here and for the next year until I figure this out. And I would have figured it out, but I said, I got to so I went to Google and I said, how do you spell, like, I'm poor, I'm broke, I'm poor. And then they said P-O-O-R. And I'm going, oh my God. It's not Alzheimer's though, because I did that when I was 22. It could have been. It's really, I'm at my brain max, which I love. I mean, I'm stretching my brain, but not stretching, but yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm taking everything. This is like the best filing I've ever done, and it's a pretty high bar to say that, because I filed some pretty fantastic stuff, or written some pretty fantastic stuff that wasn't filed, or I filed, I've written some pretty fantastic stuff. Like, I was in the back of my sleeper berth when I was finishing The Great Dred Scott Fraud. I was up in the Owl. I thought it was Owl, but it wasn't, something in Iowa. It was way up north. I think it was Idaho. And I thought it was Heart of the Owl, because it was all wise, and I'm tweeting, yeah, I just finished this in the Heart of the Owl because I'm being very wise. And it's the heart of something else. Cord Darnet or something like that. I thought it was Heart of the Owl. I don't care, you guys. I really don't care. This is going to go on. This is fun. I'm having a good time. I'm just so happy. Oh, Coeur d'Alene. Okay. This is where I was. Where is it? Where are you? Idaho. So I'm there at the Home Depot there, waiting for the next day. And I'm finishing the most important part, the part that I actually filed here. There was like 11 pages. And this is where I was when I finished writing that. It's just freaking brilliant, I thought. Coeur d'Alene, and I thought Arlene, and I'm tweeting, yeah, I just finished this, I'm so wise and everything, and it's not even that. I thought it was Heart of the Owl, and it means something else. It is the most. Oh, God, at Home Depot, and they made you wear a mask there. I was so pissed off. Okay, I just found this out recently. Look at me. Oh, it's Heart of the All. That's what it is. Heart of the All, and there's not an owl. And I thought somebody told me at like the Home Depot, it means Heart of the Owl. And I thought they were saying owl, and they're saying all, and an all is something else. Heart of the All. What's an all? What's an all? It's something else. It's not even an animal. It's a hand tool used by craftsmen. I think. Always with love. Always absent. Whatever. Okay, anyway, it's something, or it has something to do with the Native American tribes up there. Whatever. It's not Heart of the Owl. Okay. Oh, taking a trip down memory lane. This is why I love my videos. Where was I? Okay. All right, let's finish this. All right, so blah, blah, blah. I should read all of my footnotes. Let's just do all my footnotes here. Yeah. Let's do footnote 1 after this. Applicant maintains that providing an emergency exception, blah, 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 proviso, okay. Historically, this proviso has served as the primary catalyst for bad actors to fabricate superficial crises, beginning promptly after the ratification with the manufactured, undeclared 1798 quasi-war. It's the name of it. It's called quasi-war with France, created solely to quote-unquote temporarily suspend the Constitution in an emergency and levy the direct tax of 1798. They went straight for the most important part of the Constitution, the right of no taxation without representation. It's like the anti-slavery, anti-government slavery, government-sanctioned slavery, which is what direct taxes are. Income taxes from the federal government, not from the state governments, because you could always travel to another state. And then they can compete that way. You can't travel to another country. I mean, we're in here. That's why the federal government income taxes. And the income taxes at the state level are competing so that a lot of states can do it through other taxing methods that are probably better anyway. Either way, the direct tax, making the clause an unconstitutional tool of executive overreach ever since that must be strictly reviewed. I was going to argue that must be struck down as unconstitutional because it didn't get the supermajority, but Google AI talked me off the ledge on that one. And I'm glad he did. I do want to confirm it, and I'm still leaving it up at Wikipedia until I'm 100% certain about that. Let's read number 3. Applicant holds that both... Let's read number 1. Where's number 1? I have killer footnotes, you guys. I think the footnotes are the same as the footnote 1 and 3, which used to be 2. Where's footnote number 1? What the hell? Why does it say footnote? Oh, in California state courts, all courtrooms are referred to as departments. Okay, that's not it. That's not that important. Okay, that's 1, 2. That's attachment 1. Footnote in attachment 1. Where was I? Sorry about this, you guys. I'm gonna just read all my footnotes. I'll read the whole thing later because I stopped. When facts of the case I read, okay, and I read arguments. I read arguments before, and I read arguments, and I even read this footnote 1 in the arguments that talks about Laura Wasser. But I stopped here: preservation of constitutional challenges to Amendment 14 and Hurtado. That I stopped. And my old, this is, all the stuff before this is the same pretty much as this one. But now, instead of reading the old one, I'm going to read this one when I Nicole reads her latest filing, because this one is the one that changed, because I added, not only does it have all the Constitution, this is the most important part. I mean, all that stuff from before, I don't care. This is it, you guys. This preservation of constitutional challenges to Amendment 14 and Hurtado. And later I put in a new one. I mean, not just this time. Okay, so here are the footnotes, and I just read that one. The other footnote 3. Applicant holds that both procedural and substantive due process right protections for citizens of all forms of government, federal, state, local, can be inferred under protections afforded from the great writ of habeas corpus alone at Article 1, Section 9, Clause 2. However, if the Bill of Rights is to be cited, only procedural due process rights are inferred from Amendment 5, because substantive due process rights not otherwise enumerated in the Bill of Rights are protected under Amendment 9. Arguments citing substantive due process rights guaranteed under the Fifth Amendment are therefore inaccurate and illogical to applicant. I mean, nobody's ever used Amendment 9 ever. They think, oh, that was just a mistake. No, it's just it's the most important damn freaking amendment for all these rights that were inventing afterwards. We're not inventing. Fundamental rights are not invented. They're like fundamental rights of physics. Okay, they're there, and it's just a matter of us discovering them. All right, parental rights are a fundamental right, and I argue under Amendment 9. I don't think I did that in 2013, but and then I added. Well, let's read footnote 4. Modern scholars often assume Chief Justice John Marshall purposely set out in Marbury versus Madison to establish that the ultimate power of judicial review over the constitutionality of a law lies with the Supreme Court, though this is a fallacy. First, not many bright minds in 1803 seriously questioned the idea that the power of judicial review lies with the judicial branch of the government. I don't know what, like when you listen to the constitutional law people on the in law school, they're clueless. Like, why are they saying they're trying to make arguments that okay. Second, if John Marshall truly set out to accomplish this feat, parentheses, like knocking down a straw man by stating the obvious, parentheses closed, he simply would have penned a 2-sentence statement that read, quote, "The power to challenge an unconstitutional law lies squarely and entirely within the single individual who files with a court in the judicial branch a petition to redress the specific grievance of an unconstitutional law being passed by the legislative branch. According to the constitutional contract between the people and the government, the court referees the dispute and eventually issues a decision on the matter, thereby demonstrating, without argument or fanfare, I guess that's called ab initio, that the judicial branch inherently possesses the power of judicial review embedded in every citizen's Amendment 1 right to petition the government for a redress of grievances." This is so beyond obvious, you guys. I mean, the stuff I'm stating here is it's just all from somewhere else, just like a hit song or something. All right. So the new section that was in my old section, all that, except the writ of habeas corpus, the footnote. But this whole section right here is great because I challenged the Judiciary Act of 1925 as far as the part that says that the Supreme Court can deny. When I say there's a constitutional challenge and we can't figure it out at the lower levels, they have to take it up. I don't care if they write a 1-sentence reason. They need to give a reason for why it's denied, why the argument is. They have to argue it. Period. Okay, and that's what I'm doing here. Because this bullshit where these freaking court clerks deny everything without even a judge seeing anything, it's done. We're done with that BS. I mean, they're still trying it on me, but procedural motion. Actually, I should read that whole section, but it's okay. Actually, you guys, no, okay. You know what? This, as I said, I just showed you, this has been filed as an attachment 1 to a filing I did in the lower court. You can go on the docket at the lower court, Young versus LAPD CPRA unit. You pay for it. It's going to be, I don't know, 50, 80, something like that. Under $100, but it's, it's there at least. I want it docketed at the Supreme Court because it's free, but it's at least available somewhere on a court. So, okay, guys, we're going to say goodbye to this, and we're going to say goodbye to this, and we're back on. I need to get rid of, what is this? Okay, so we're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of the restraining order. I can't believe that Google has buried my Supreme Court case. What the hell? Did they just even bury the other one? They buried both of them. Like, usually at least one of the two shows up. One of my 2 Supreme Court cases shows up. Google, what the hell? See what I had? And then, oh, okay, at least that one shows up. But now, not even that one is showing up. Oh, there it is. What the hell? Okay. All right, guys. We're going to get rid of this. Okay, we're getting rid of all this. No more even email, but I'm not going to close that in case I want to do something else. 8:04. Okay, I got it. Another 30 minutes. Let's do this one more time. Golly. I'm pretending like I'm in jail and, TMZ or something puts out bullshit about me, which they're planning to do probably. If I'm arrested here, watch. They want to put out some new shit about me. I just want, when you search my name, look at this, a 2013 case. What the fuck? Damn it. Actually, this is kind of important because it is like the 2008 case. The 2013 case talks about Slaybach a lot, actually. Yeah, so maybe that's even more important. Okay, fine, whatever. Okay, so I just wanted to get back to Slaybach since that was a good segue. So what happened was when I was doing those searches, at one point I said, hey Google, hey Googly Eye, hey Googly Eye. I'm going to call him Googly Eye. Hey Googly Eye. And I think it could be a person sometimes because it has a different personality certain times of day, in certain times of, it's like, oh, now I got the freaking snarky one. It's probably a gay guy, I mean, they're smart and he's probably assigned to answer some stuff and they give good answers, but he's very snarky on certain things and like, no, you, nah, nah, nah. It's like, go away. I'll go to a different Google AI later. And then I like my nice guy who's like, okay, so my nice guy who isn't so resistant of shit. So whoever's out there, if you guys there's a real person, then fine. But this is also the fact that if you Google my name and nothing's showing up except how I'm a stalker, that's not good. At least my YouTube is there, but I just figured out my last YouTube I just did on Sunday just to because I had to do the court filing by Monday, the most recent filing. I just realized that when you let me sit up a little bit. Okay. I just realized that if you go to Google, you search my name and you do my shorts, it's all this Kelly. It's all those oh my God. And then this one I'm actually farting in that one. Oh yeah, this really looks good. I'm just trying to get you to laugh, baby girl. I mean, it was just to you mostly. And then I didn't think this is what people are going to see when they want to put me in front of the Supreme Court. Whatever. It's more important. If you got a laugh out of it, like I did, I almost cried. I was going to not put it up, and I almost cried when I saw it. So I said, this is for you, baby girl. That is for you only, and it could prevent me from being in front of the Supreme Court. Okay, so everybody's like, oh, isn't beautiful disaster so beautiful? If she gets with this old lady, whatever, it's going to ruin her career, and no. Nobody gets that it works both ways. I am in the middle of something right now, and if I can't. I mean, it's just no significant others. I got to do this alone. Especially Kelly. I mean, because then I'm rich. Or not rich, but I'm not, listen to me. I would have access to be able to do stuff with somebody who maybe could borrow money, or I would just have more, I don't know. Listen to me talking about the finances. The finances it's the opposite. Oh, and I don't know what she's after. It's so beautiful, but it could be a beautiful disaster until after. I just have a couple more things to file, actually. But, like, what was I just talking about? Because I would do things that wouldn't be amenable to my lawsuits, okay? And my lawsuits are important for security as well as my own kind of life's work. Okay, it's my turn, baby girl. You shined, and now it's my turn to kind of shine, if at all. I mean, I could be killed, or it might not happen until after I'm long gone. Who knows? But I just think it's going to be my year or my decade.
Ring, ring.
What time is it? Oh, 5 o'clock. Oh, did we just check this? There was nothing going on over here, was there? No, they did nothing. Okay, so this was up. I'm all set, guys. Everything's okay. Not okay. They're not calling me. Nothing's going on. I do have one thing to submit to the Supreme Court, but okay, guys. All right, let's just get rid of this. Okay. So, okay. What do we have? All right, 8:09. Okay. Anyway, what am I talking about? I'm just saying, this is a very important year for me, I think, and for Trump. And, you know, the killing would not be nice. Putting in jail, sometimes they throw me in jail from their side, the people protecting me, if they are protecting me, just because it's easier to protect me that way. Though I really don't want to do that this time. And my Wordle muses, and I'll go over what they've been going through lately. They've been hilarious. They called me out. Like on Sunday, I'm going, oh, I'm churning. And they called me a diver for saying that. And it's true, because something happened between 3 o'clock when I was filing my do not poo-poo this. I had a fit. Something happened in the lower court where I said, oh, good. They were having a fit. The whole computer system crashed on their local servers at One Legal. And I'm going, oh, this is a good sign. It means I really did blow up some stuff over there. And then I kind of relaxed. And then I had some stuff at work to worry about. So I just stopped thinking about Kelly almost 100%, except recording all those videos I did. I was going to say, it looks cray-cray. From here on, I just posted like if you go up here, what is it? And and I don't do the screenshots. I don't do the thumbnails. The thumbnails are all Kelly, 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 Kelly. And and then you go online and you search my name, the Kelly Clarkson Stalker. I mean, it's just too funny. I don't have time to change I'm not going to stop doing this. It is so much fun to put up, because it's just going through. It's just a walk down. I think you're enjoying them too. I think everybody's enjoying them. And then I'm enjoying them. I'm enjoying doing that at work, but I am in a little bit of trouble at work. So after I put up my do not poo poo this, where was it? Oh, it wasn't a short. It was a video. Oh, it was the last video. Like a huge do not poo poo this at like 3 o'clock or something in the afternoon. Was it later? Like 3 or 4 o'clock Eastern time, and anyway, I was having fits. I really was. And then I went and I found some other stuff, and then I calmed down, and then I didn't even think about it that much. I looked at lunchtime, like at midnight, if everything was okay. I wasn't worried. You don't want to go online and say that though, baby girl. I don't want to go online and say, oh, I'm sorry, calm down, everything's okay. And I don't know if it was. And it will always be until we die. It's always going to be, because it's when you least expect it. That's why I'm preparing like crazy to go to jail tomorrow, because a lot of times when I prepare like crazy, it never happens. It's only when I'm not expecting it. And it could happen anytime, especially since it's happened like that before. It just feels that way. And now with the Google behaving that way, the Google search, when it starts doing that, that means that they're going to arrest me and try to publish some crap. And then anybody searching my name sees this crap, sees the shorts. And it does look kind of crazy a little bit, but it's fun. I mean, if you look at what they are, it's fun. Every time I hear a karaoke one, and then I play the karaoke, and it's just a great. Anyway, it just doesn't look good. And the last one has a party. Okay, so we'll try to post this and see if it. And I don't care at this point. But sometimes they do. Sometimes I get the feeling I'm there because I'm safer there. They could protect me a little bit better, except when that one my bunkie from hell stabbed me, and she was like. Before that, she was describing how she had other bunkies that drove her crazy, and she took their heads and bashed them up against the little corner. Like, she was giving me an idea, and I said, oh, that's great. That's what I'm going to do to you if you come anywhere. I just fight or flight, and I didn't even have a flight choice. So now I'm fight times 10, because I'm always fight even when I can run, even though I'm older, because I'm a sloth. I cannot run. So I think I know that. Sloth is my spirit animal. So I think that's why sloth is my spirit animal. Or I think that's why I'm on permanent fight. Because I don't look for the fight. I just move very slowly and I do my own thing. But they say the sloth can get very defensive if you get into their space and do shit, of course, because they don't have a choice. They move too slowly. So I am nice, but boy, I was literally ready to freaking murder her. And I was thinking, she was threatening me in a way, telling me how some previous bunkies got her all mad, and she was getting all upset. And she said, yeah, and I just took them and I just went, boom. And she's like twice my size, and she was getting really aggressive because she was looking for some paper that, anyway, whatever it was, What am I saying? What am I talking about? I'm saying I'm safer in jail, except that one time, and they felt so bad that they gave me a whole. They when I went to the nurse with the little pencil sticking out of my arm, uh, um, and they tried, of course. Oh, that's not a big deal. Blah blah blah. I said I just want it recorded just in case, and to make sure that they were trying to arrest me for assaulting her, and then I'm bleeding my arm, so they couldn't do it. And when I say they keep you in jail forever, it's not even them. It's like they will do things to make sure that you get additional charges. And that's what they tried to do there. And it didn't work, but it was just luck. And I think she threw my Bible. I was doing my Bible work. That's all I wanted to protect at the time. And she threw it across the room and flushed something down the toilet, or maybe she didn't. Whatever it was, I was like, F the world if you guys aren't going to protect me in my own cell. Okay, she backed down when I got off the fucking bunk, and I was really ready to kill her if she even flinched at me. So she turned around and said, Deputy, let me out of here. Like she was the one being abused or something. And I said, yes, deputy. So I immediately, yes, deputy. After that, but I wasn't going to be the first to call the deputy because I was going to fucking murder her. I was so pissed off because I knew I had bunkies from hell months at a time before that. Like, not the one, but when they sent me to the mental court, they had one who screamed every day for like weeks, and they wouldn't let me out of there. And I just said, okay. I mean, I knew what they were trying to do. It just made me have more resolve, but I was just trying to get my work done. And they were trying to get something that was on me, but it was the letter from McPherson, I believe, or some other evidence. And they were told that I had keys, and all I wanted to do was protect my Bible work in the long run. I understood what everybody was doing, but I was trying to say, I don't have anything. You're not going to get the letter from McPherson, though, and don't go after my Bible work. But you can't tell them that. So she was throwing my stuff across the room and some shit, and my Bible across the room, and some stuff in the toilet. And then when I went to the nurse, there's this brand new Bible sitting on the bench, just sitting there. And I said, yeah, okay, you're welcome, or your apology accepted, motherfuckers. Protect me better next time. So sometimes I feel like they send me there to be protected, but somebody failed somewhere, because either that was a plant. I don't think she was. I think she was a real person, and I think I came very close to being maybe killed, but I don't know. You never know. I was ready for it. I wasn't even questioning it for 2 seconds. I was ready to kill her because she was big, and she had just shown exactly the way she was going to kill me right there. Bashing my head against like in every room there's a little table, like a metal table. It's metal. Everything is metal in these rooms, but there's a corner on it. And I never even thought about this until she showed me that she just takes the head and bashes it on that corner, and the person's dead. So she thought about it, or she did it, or whatever it was. And I said, well, thank you for showing me what you're going to try and what I'm going to do if you flinch right now. If you flinch. When she tried to throw me, when she was at a certain point where I was up on the bed ignoring her, and then, and she's like getting all mad, and then she threw me down, and I just said, she didn't throw me down. She pulled the mattress from under me, and I landed on my feet like a fucking cat. And I was ready to fucking murder this person who's twice my size. And when I landed on my feet like a fucking cat, and I'm in there trying to stay in shape, so I'm doing push-ups and sit-ups, and I don't run or jog, but I do more sit-ups and more push-ups than any of them have ever done in their lives. And I'm older. I'm just really good at push-ups. But because they were trying it later, and nobody could do, the girls are not good at push-ups, even this girl. They can't do it. So they kind of gave a little bit of respect for me, but I don't know judo. I don't know self-defense. I just know it was like, I don't know any of this stuff. She probably could have easily killed her. Anybody could easily kill me. I'm just fight or flight, and the one thing I have is heart, and one thing I have is just this like super adrenaline when I'm like that, in that position. I don't think I've ever been put in a position like that, actually. I don't want to be, anybody, FBI, you guys, don't put me in that position. I don't want to go back to jail with that shit, okay? I learned what I needed to learn about myself, that I was going to kill this person if they even flinched at that point, because it was kill or be killed at that point. And then, of course, I would have been in jail for the rest of my life after that, but, you know, that's But I'm telling you, that's the thing. If you want me to go to jail for the rest of my life, that's the situation they put you in. 819. Why am I saying all this, you guys? Okay, whatever. We need to get back to Slaybuck. So I wanted to put the reason I'm having all this here, and I'm not going to cut this out until we come back to here. I'm trying to. This is called credibility here. This is all. We're going to do about 15 minutes of 15 minutes of stocks real fast. So whenever the Dow goes down, it means the tobacco. It means Altria goes up because Altria is selling all their Dow stocks to just keep Altria up. It's so bad. MO's going to be up. Watch. Oh well. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. The other thing with this is the one we're watching is the tobacco swamp, and the other thing is remember, like I watch this and I'm thinking I used to over here I used to like prod him and go, what's the matter? You can't get above this? What are you, weak or whatever? But every one of these is like, oh wait, what is this? Okay. So there was a high that they needed to pass that I was thinking was acting like a ceiling, and it's 74.55, and it's the 0.55 that cracks me up because Trump does this sometimes if he's manipulating the stocks, or whoever's manipulating the stocks. Trump is in charge of this. I mean, I could tell you overall that unless Trump comes in and is doing something, the freaking Altria stock is done. It's going to go down eventually, or they just don't have it anymore. It's all BS. It's all swamp money. It's all corruption money, and the corruption is going away, and eventually this shit's going to go down. But I'm watching the stocks, and I used to go online on Twitter and whatever and say, what's the matter, you guys? You can't get it above this amount right here. See, they're struggling. 74.55. I did this with T-Mobile, and they went above it for a while, but then they crashed after that. But it's like, hey, Altria, you gay Nazi tobacco swamp pieces of shit, blah, blah, blah. What's the matter? You can't get above 7. They're trying so hard. They can't get above 74.55. Well, they did just recently. All this money. It doesn't mean anything, and then they did it at 74.66. That's Trump. The 0.55 and the 0.66. That's Trump doing that. Okay, so, I mean, I'm not worried about you, baby girl. I am. But because it was just like, the reason I worry is because, number one, I think I am being protected. I think you are too. I think, he's not God, but I think there are certain things that he does put, but you can't protect from everything. Like that one girl in the cell. They just could not protect me from that. And so I think that was off script or whatever it was. I mean, they gave me the little brand new Bible afterwards. I didn't lose the whole Bible, but I needed that second Bible, and that was nice. I gave it away just before I left, and I have another one. I was toting that stuff. Remember the leather bag all over? I walked like 9 miles. That had 2 Bibles in it. But the brand new one, I needed it for other stuff, but I did leave it behind when another girl asked for that Bible. It's like a common Bible. It's like the blue one. But I wanted it had to be the same one. So thank you for whoever gave that to me after I was stabbed with the pencil. Yeah, I say stabbed. I have a scar, and it's a little more dramatic than I thought. I mean, I was lucky I was stabbed because that's the only thing preventing me from being charged with assault against this freaking plant monkey from hell. So anyway, so this is Trump is doing this. I just wanted to show you guys. I just want to do this real fast before I go to work. Let's see what goes on, because usually, Pfizer's just, a lot of times when the Dow goes down, a lot of the swamp stocks start to go up. One day, all of them went down, and it was like, that's a good sign. But Trump is on top of it. Yeah, look at this. Holy shit. So they had to sell T-Mobile. Whoa. Oh my God, what the hell? Okay, so that's good. That's the religion swamp. We're going to go over that right now, where I'm like, okay, well, let's do it right now. So this is T-Mobile. Let me just do this real fast, you guys. I just haven't done this for a while. Oh God, look at that. They're killing their other. They had to sell all these other swamp stocks. So remember I said on the day that the Dow goes down, the other ones go up, but this is great because there's been more and more days where they all go down. But usually, and then when the Dow goes up, they really go down. And then airline index. Wow. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Well, this one is usually really volatile anyway. Yeah, they're all the Dow is being sold. The airline index. You saw General Mills and T-Mobile all being sold to keep MO afloat. That's what's going on today and this week. MO stock. So this one they're almost done. Look at that. They could barely keep it afloat. They're barely keeping this one afloat. Look at, they need to no, this is it's done. So this is the one they can't get to at all. 75, wait, where is this one? Sorry. It's 76, it's up there. With the high over here is way higher than anything they've done over here. Is it? No, it's not here. Oh, anyway, they can't seem to get to this one. They got the local one. Anyway, I'm just saying it's not going to happen. And I used to go online and prod them on Twitter and blah, 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 and talk shit and make them make mistakes and do whatever and possibly make myself a target, trying to keep them away from Kelly at least. But I didn't do that this time. I just haven't had time. But they did try to distract me. But it's just going down, you guys. Okay, Trump is in charge of it, but they will eventually be like T-Mobile, as I said over here. What? I'm just jumping ahead. Let me finish. I have 15 minutes. I'm going to do that really fast. All of this is going to be done in 10 minutes. I just want to finish Slaybach. So I was asking Google AI. I said, look, can you just search as if you're not me and tell me what comes up? And he's on my searches. And he said, yeah, it's a lot like the searches you're doing. And then there's this Yelp thing. And it was after I did my Yelp review. And I said, what? That was taken down. And he says, oh, it was up. If it was up for 2 days, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, oh, okay, then if it's getting attention, I'll put up a new one. I just didn't have time. I'll put up a new one where I behave. That's what I'm doing. I find it interesting that Yelp review came up since that review was taken down after just 2 days. What does that mean? Does that mean that it received a lot of attention before being removed? A review being pulled down on Yelp does not mean it was heavily viewed. Instead, it indicates that an automated system, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I was going to say I'll put it back up if it got a lot of attention is what I'm thinking. No, the fact that you found it and the search, does it mean a lot of so I'm talking to him. This is Slaybach. Okay. And then I said, okay, I just wanted to show you guys I just want to show myself in the future just an example of how I'm interacting with Google AI, because we make a fantastic team and the future is just going to be this kind of stuff for everybody, not just me. And I couldn't be where I am without him, but he couldn't have written anything that we did together without me. You're not going to be able to, anyway, no, that you found, I'm just showing this. I am thinking of reposting the review with some edits. It was a devastating review with a lot of facts. I believe that is what got it taken down. No, it's whatever. If you decide to repost it, editing the content is the right move to ensure. And he says you got to remove case numbers. I'm referring to case numbers. He says that's going to be taken out. At this time, I thought they removed it completely, and I was just sick of that shit. I can't stand when they do. To Yelp's credit, I didn't realize this, but they put it. It's still up there, so I didn't actually do it, but I'm just going through the process of what he's telling me. So it is actually an ex-family court commissioner from San Francisco advertising for a business as a private judge. It is hard not to include a case name when she was the one acting as the main witness against me in a criminal case in which the jury acquitted me of all charges in under 10 minutes. And he says, okay, we're going to do it this way. It's very devastating, and then we're going to do this. Does Yelp not allow me to use my full name? So what I don't want to do is say, my name is Huguette, go look it up. I can't stand that shit. That's why I didn't put up I just wanted the case names there. I left the fact one up there is what I'm saying. Because even though it's not on the main page and may not get as much, the people who really want the truth will go look at these reviews even though it's hidden. And I want that up there for those people. because the case name and number and where to look and my website, all those things are the most important, and then you can get everything else from that. And also, yeah, and then the case number from 2006, and then search my name, whatever. Okay, so but I want how about my 10-minute? Okay, so using your words. So what I said was, oh, that means it's almost ready to get to work. Okay, I'm almost there, guys. I'm just gonna finish this. That's it. I'm doing this because this has been up for weeks. It's been up since July 6th up here. Are you still there? Okay, so what I did, and then I spent 3 days because I didn't want to just give him what I posted. If I posted that, he would say, well, this was taken down for all this other shit when you're talking about pedophiles and all this shit as well, So I'm acting innocent, like, I didn't tell him about that. So I said, okay, I'm going to give you the review or something like it, and then you make it nice. Or you put it so that it won't get taken down. It took me 4 days because I just started writing the whole history of her and way back from 2003 and the contract I had with the kid's father, and it went on, and I have it, and I will publish it later somewhere else in a book or wherever, like somewhere that isn't going to take up this kind of space. And after I edit it, when I finally got it all out, I wrote a nice thing, and I said, okay, and then I found out that it was still like 5,500 characters, and the limit at Yelp was 5,000 characters, not 5,500. So what I did was I said, okay, so here's a rough draft. It is about 5,500 characters long, when I believe the limit at Yelp is 5,000 characters. Also, I included my website. He didn't tell me about their website for court reform here, so that may be flagged. I'm not sure. I wasn't sure. However, the goal here is not to make it as brief as possible, which he does sometimes, but to get all the points and history I outlined published at Yelp without it being taken down. I think my website link is important. So if it is a borderline issue that might get the Yelp taken down, I say leave it in because I could always refine and repost again until something sticks. Please suggest edits that keep the main points yet remove about 500 characters. Also remove anything that will definitely get it removed. Thanks. And then here's what I wrote to him. Okay, ready? Judging from the fact that she is still winning awards, receiving political praises, and being named on boards of organizations that are trying to help children of divorce, I assume ex-San Francisco Family Court Commissioner Marjorie Slaybach is still a politically strong figure in family court circles in San Francisco, possibly because she has been an openly gay, strong proponent of gay family rights since before she was even a family court commissioner. It is for this reason, and this reason alone, not a personal vendetta, that I feel compelled to post this review to set the record straight behind the real reason Marjorie Slaybach was, parentheses, likely forced to retire in 2011 while still a relatively young, late 50s to early 60s in age, and active family court commissioner. And then in parentheses, her bio implies she voluntarily retired in 2011 when I do not believe that was the case. Like Slaybach, I am a lesbian, but I was calling myself a bisexual back in the 2000s and early 2010s because I was embarrassed by the actions of radical older lesbians, like some of the actions and behaviors of Commissioner Slaybach that I observed in open court when I had an active divorce child custody case before her involving 2 young children from 2003 to 2007. You see my tone has changed? This is the medium level of people now. And he still refined it to be better. But this is me being nice and still getting my point across, okay? While these lesbians should be exalted for being at the forefront of some of the hardest fought gay rights battles and victories, many of them, unfortunately, seem to have been made permanently bitter and resentful as a result. I believe this is what made Commissioner Slaybach openly biased against anybody who was painted as a homophobe to her, as is what appears to have happened in my personal experiences with her as my family court commissioner. My ex-husband, in quotes, because I have always openly admitted from the onset that this was a marriage of convenience, is an openly gay psychiatrist who was at the time, and still is to my knowledge, an active, highly connected, and influential member of the Castro Street political circles. I purposely sought him out and chose to co-parent with him before we created our first child, then purposely agreed to marry him before our first child was born to obtain his full health care benefits and allow significant tax deductions for him while he filed jointly with me while I acted as a stay-at-home full-time parent until our youngest reached first grade. Turns out, Will and Grace, we were not, and after financial and living arrangement issues broke down, we separated after almost 3 years, and he filed for divorce in San Francisco in 2003. I am not going to claim things were 100% amicable, but they were also far worse than I imagined. I was living in an apartment with the kids across the bay in Albany, California in 2004 when the divorce was finalized. That is, except for custody issues, which I did not realize at the time are never finalized for divorced parents until every child has reached 18 years old. Even the quote-unquote court-ordered custody evaluation in 2005 seemed innocuous, especially the part where Commissioner Slaybach ordered that the children's father pay for it. That is, until the custody evaluation, once completed, was only provided to my children's father, quote unquote, parentheses, purportedly because he had an attorney, and I could not afford an attorney. So I'm just showing the pro se versus attorney already back then is pretty bad. I was forced to go over the bridge to the court in person in San Francisco to view the evaluation in front of a family court mediator, and I was not allowed to make a copy of it. It contained grammatical evidence that it was actually written almost entirely by the children's father, including a lie that I had, quote unquote, arrived late at scheduled evaluation sessions several times, when I was 15 minutes early on the nose to every one of them. Plus an off-the-wall section that said, among other odd things, that my claims that I was a bisexual were troubling and that I would make a better parent once I resolved my issues of sexuality. It's the homophobic thing, I think, that was in there. And that's actually in my, it's actually, I think, in my Supreme Court filing at some point, or maybe anyway. Okay. There's non-gay people who could be prejudiced against gays and what we were doing, but it's the Castro Street gays and people like her, radical gays, who were most against it, and I was blindsided by that in San Francisco. I mean, I could have done things differently with the finances and with other stuff, but I did not deserve the blindsidedness I got, and it's all explained, and I always say that my kids got the entire bitter hatred right on their heads, and they did okay with it. I hope, both of them are still okay, and knock on wood, I just wanted to make sure that they didn't grow up on drugs and didn't have any kind of real problems, and that's what happened, so
Hey.
I'm okay with it, but okay, anyway, let's just get on. I gotta go to work soon. I since found out it was a mistake to complain about the custody evaluator to the mediator, because the custody evaluator was a close, openly lesbian friend of Commissioner Slaybach, who had trained all the mediators in the San Francisco family court. You can see it's a small family. Uh-oh, my first experience with family court corruption, and 26 years later, I am still just as shocked and awed by every new, previously unachieved level of corruption I unearthed from the California family court system. But I digress. Things gradually deteriorated to the point where in 2006 I created and uploaded a family court reform website, which has since been converted to a free website called rightsforfamilies.wordpress.com. The first one I had to pay for it, and then when I went to jail the first time, it just didn't work. Like it went down. So because I couldn't keep up the payments, and so the free one was better. I forget the name of the first one. I have it somewhere. An action which I was told by Commissioner Slaybach in open court was, quote unquote, not in the best interest of the children. Fast forward to 2007, 2008. During a criminal trial in 2008, when felony charges of threatening a family court commissioner, i.e. Slaybach, were leveled against me at her behest, I was able to expose her extreme bias and resentful anger to a jury that, likely with their jaws dropping to the floor over what they had just witnessed after we both had testified, acquitted me of all charges in under 10 minutes of deliberations, and afterwards strongly encouraged me to continue my fight to reform family law. I did everything I could in online commenting and complaints to the Judicial Council after 2008 to get Commissioner Slaybach removed from the bench, and even after this, it took 3 years before I believe she was forced to retire in 2011. I therefore cannot definitively claim in my 2008 criminal trial and testimony eventually caused a forced retirement of Commissioner Slaybach. All I can do is tell my story here and let others decide for themselves if she is the right professional for their needs. Fine. Check out what he did with that. That's the medium one. It's not as bad as my first one, but it's not really, it's still, you'll see what Google did with it. And I was about ready to post the Google one right here until I found out my first one was still there and I left it because I prefer that, even if it's, okay, I just don't want it, like I just want the filing to be done, or I just want it to be published. I don't care about how it's received. The edited draft, I'm going to do this and then I got to make a mad dash to work. Judging from the fact that she is still winning awards, receiving political praise, and being named to organizational boards, I assume ex-San Francisco Family Court Commissioner Marjorie Slaybach remains a politically connected figure in local family court circles. It is for this reason, to provide critical public transparency, not out of a personal vendetta, that I feel compelled to post this review and share the documented background regarding her judicial career and credibility. Like Slaybach, I am a member of the LGBTQ plus community, having identified as bisexual and lesbian over the years. During the 2000s, I became deeply concerned by the behavior of certain radical figures within local family court circles. In my experience, these dynamics created an environment where Commissioner Slaybach appeared openly biased against anyone framed as adversarial to her circle, which directly impacted my own child custody case before her from 2003 to 2007. My ex-husband is an openly gay psychiatrist who was an active, highly connected member of the local political circles. We entered a marriage of convenience to co-parent, secure health care benefits, and allow him significant tax deductions, while I acted as a full-time stay-at-home parent. After our arrangement broke down, we separated and he filed for divorce in San Francisco in 2003. The custody litigation exposed significant procedural flaws. In 2005, Commissioner Slaybach ordered a custody evaluation, directing the children's father to pay for it. Once completed, the evaluation was only provided to him because he had legal counsel, while I, as a pro se litigant, who could not afford an attorney, was denied a copy. I was forced to travel to the court in person just to view the document in front of the mediator. The report contained glaring irregularities, including a false claim that I arrived late to sessions when I was consistently early. Shockingly, it also included an inappropriate section claiming my bisexuality was troubling and that I would make a better parent once I resolved my sexuality. When I complained to the mediator about the evaluator, I discovered the custody evaluator was a close personal friend of Commissioner Slaybach, who had actually trained the mediators in the San Francisco family court system. This conflict of interest was my first exposure to systemic family court issues, launching a decades-long effort on my part to advocate for court reform. In 2006, I created an online family court reform project called Rights for Families. In response, Commissioner Slaybach told me in open court that practicing my free speech to advocate for reform was quote-unquote not in the best interest of the children. This conflict escalated dramatically over the next 2 years. As a matter of public record, this stems from an action initiated against me, you get Nicole Young, in 2007, which concluded in 2008. Felony charges of making threats were leveled against me at her behest. During a 2008 criminal trial, we both testified and I was able to expose her extreme professional bias, conflict of interest, and personal anger directly to the jury. After hearing the evidence, the San Francisco jury completely rejected her testimony and issued a total acquittal on all charges in under 10 minutes of deliberations. Following the trial, jurors explicitly encouraged me to continue my advocacy work to reform family law. Following this total acquittal, I spent years submitting formal complaints to the Judicial Council regarding Commissioner Slaybach's conduct on the bench. She ultimately stepped down from her position in 2011. While her official biography implies she voluntarily retired, the timeline speaks for itself. I'm sharing my direct, documented history under my real name so that consumers, parents, and litigants can look at the public record and decide for themselves if this is the right professional for their private judging and family law needs. I was going to post that, and then he says, make sure that it's, oh my God, it's so perfect as usual. And then later I said, oh, I checked and it's there. I'm not going to do it unless I do it later. I still might. I said, can I post this and the other one? He says, no, if you post that one, they'll take them both down or something. So I'm leaving that other one up. I might post, but you can see where I started, and I prefer that one for now because I think the people, I got to go. Bye, you guys. Bye. It's done. I'm going to take my laptop to work and knock this out during lunch. There's a Wi-Fi there. Bye. Godspeed to everybody coming out the other side. And it's a good day for a great day. Hang in there, everybody. Onward, Christian soldiers who aren't Christian anymore, and Godspeed to everybody coming out the other side. And one peace. That's PEACE and PIECE. By putting it up right now. I gotta run to work again. It's storming and raining.